Okay. Should be live, I think.
We on?
I think so. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Sweet. Well, yeah, gotta here, give it a second to make sure that everyone can hear us and everything.
Yeah.
So, tell us in the chat. How do we see how many? I see people posting in the chat.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've done this. Yo, are you guys hearing us? How do I... Let me, like, look at it.
That's actually a
on
good
my
idea.
phone, yeah.
That's probably the way to go.
Okay, we appear to be live. Koi ga chisai. Okay. I guess we're here.
Are we on?
Here.
All right, sick.
How many people we got? 61.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. We'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it. How quiet are we? I mean,
That's
probably we'll just have to. I guess I can turn up the sensitivity.
Damn, bro's got a full fucking setup here.
Yeah, but the thing about this mic is it has to be really close to your mouth. To pick it
okay.
up. That's why, like, Joe Rogan's always telling people to, like, put it closer.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, tell us if it's too quiet again. I can turn the sensitivity up. If I turn it up too much, it will start clipping. So, sweet.
Let's go. Started the Hikaru challenge. That's the way.
There you go. What is the official Hikaru challenge? Is there it's a fixed number of hours?
Nah. You go. The guy has like maybe 2,000 videos, 1,000 videos or something, and a lot of them, especially the recent ones, are like hour to 3 hours long.
Damn.
So my whole thing was, if you from start to finish, like went to his oldest videos and somehow caught up to the newest, despite him doing a 3-hour video a day.
Every day?
Pretty much.
Holy shit.
But if you do if you even just got up to the last year, like you got through most of those videos, you would probably be fluent in Japanese.
Probably, yeah.
Like and then I've gone through and like taken all of his old videos have soft subtitles so you can download. So I just ripped them all.
Nice.
Made
You mean like the YouTube generated ones?
Nah, he made them.
No way.
He got someone to make them, so you can you can download them all like handmade. So I got someone to I downloaded them all, put them through a frequency thing, just got the most frequent words in their base forms, and then made just 1,000-word deck out of it. So I was like, if you did that, then sentence mine from his videos after, and watched every single one of his videos, you'd probably be fluent.
Yeah,
it'd be hard not to be.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you would be fluent. The only problem is how
you just will want to die.
Yeah, exactly. Like how at what point are you going to start completely hating Hikaru?
Yeah, but do you know what's crazy though? Is that people have done it. There's a few people I know who've done it. And
the whole challenge, they caught all the way up.
Yeah. I mean, probably not anymore, but like a couple of years ago.
I see. I mean, yeah, I guess
they probably don't keep going after a bit.
Well, I guess as the years go on, the challenge becomes increasingly difficult.
Yeah, if you want to keep up
as the backlog.
You better do your 3 hours a day.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you do like 6 hours a day, you could consistently be,
you could probably
making progress.
If you use it for you use it for the passive immersion too. Eventually, you catch up, and then
Well, what do you so how are the videos like? I haven't really watched. I've probably watched less than 10 entire Hikaru videos. Like, are they actually good?
The old ones, no.
Oh,
that's a part of the challenge. You'll just he goes through different arcs. He's got the start where he's just doing like random things, and then he goes through like a Yu-Gi-Oh arc where he's just doing Yu-Gi-Oh pack openings for a while, and then he's doing claw machines. That goes for a while, and then once you catch up to modern Hikaru, then it's interesting. So that's the part of the
And what are like the modern arcs that are like interesting?
Well, then he's just doing random shit because he essentially just has someone following him around with a camera all day. Yeah, like the first few videos, like first couple hundred, are like, what was it? They're like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. But then the recent ones are like 3 hours.
Damn.
And they're all done for him, and they're way more interesting. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, he's very good at staying relevant. He's one of those people.
He's amazing at it,
yeah. Like, I mean, there are a lot of people, like, he went through this whole arc recently. Like, I barely follow this stuff, but just living in Japan, you hear about, the popular news. There was a whole arc about him getting married. To, like, a kabajo.
Yeah, he did.
And then got divorced, like, immediately. Like, how long were they married for? Like...
Not long.
Like a couple months or something.
Yeah. But he's also a really good speaker. Like,
yeah.
when you hear him speak, he just rattles off so fast. So, like, if you can take that speech, it's got a good mix of, like, professionalism and just, like, you know, basic, like, chatting to people. So, if you can emulate that, it's pretty good.
Yeah, if you want to speak Kansai Ben,
Yeah.
But I guess that's the other thing is, like, if you really want to take the Kansai Ben path, then you have to be more conscious about your input, because you can't just be watching whatever you feel like, because most of it will not be Kansai Ben.
That's true. Look at this guy. You watch too much Hikaru and he's in an open marriage. Good job. That's the end game.
I feel like he single-handedly normalized the word, like, open muddy or whatever.
But he, like, some of his old videos, he talks about, like, his, like, view on relationships. That guy's not okay.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, you gotta look at the facts. Like, how is his life going? It doesn't seem like you would want to emulate him in terms of relationships.
Not in relationships, but he just bought, like, a $10 million apartment. So that probably is. Yeah, his net worth is like 100 mil or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the YouTube money, and I'm sure he does lots of ad
cooked.
Shit.
Yeah. Does it work even if you understand everything at first? What do you think of Matt's listening? That's essentially what I did. So it's pretty...
he's the original listening approach.
That was that's pretty much what I did. So that's probably the way to go.
Actually, the funny story. I mean, you can correct me if this is wrong, but basically, when I made MIA in 2018. When I first made the website and put out the roadmap of, like, here's how you learn Japanese, there were two roadmaps. There was the perfectionist path and the, what do you call it, the balanced path. And the perfectionist path was listening only. It was like until you get to fluency. And at the time I put it there, I was like, probably no one's gonna do this, because learning to me at the time I was like, this is too crazy. Like, how are you who's actually gonna do this? But I just put it there because I'm like, well, theoretically this is what's optimal. And then you said you saw that, and that was part of what made you decide to want to take the approach, right?
I'm not a bitch. I'm gonna just go do that, Like, what's the point of just wasting my time to not aim for what I actually want? It depends on what you want, you know. But I was always like, had that mindset of, I want to be the best. Like, I want to be the best at this. Like, I want to be able to speak perfectly like a native speaker. So I thought, for one, I don't like reading. Like, especially I read a lot more these days, even in English. But back then, I hated books. I hated reading. So I would just like. I was like, well, I'm not going to read because I don't enjoy it. I'm just going to watch YouTube all day because that's what I would probably prefer to do. Yeah,
it's kind of sad because, like, I wasn't really a reader anyway. Like, I wasn't a reader either.
Yeah, see, I hear this a lot.
Yeah, like, I just forced myself to read because I thought it would be good for my Japanese. Yeah. It probably would have been easy for me to just do, like, all listening if I wanted to.
Well, that's like that. Like I was saying, the other Matt. He was like...
he
didn't even read. And then he just ended up fucking reading all day. But, yeah, it's hard to...
I mean, in a way, I'm glad because it helped me develop an appreciation for reading.
It's true, but it helps. I read a lot of non-fiction now in Japanese, like a lot of marketing books and stuff. But it's not what I did. I just watched garbage YouTube, like brain rot, essentially, for the first 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ironic in a way, but I mean, okay, everyone keeps saying about the volume. The volume's as high as it goes, so too bad. This is
just gonna have to talk like this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can try to lean in more, but
look a little sus.
We're gonna, unless we want to start making out with each other. Like the volume's literally at the full sensitivity. Yeah. So you're gonna have to turn up on your end, guys. Unfortunately.
Are you gonna get a noise complaint if I just yell?
I mean,
I don't want to test it.
Yeah. See, I knew that if I posted it on my Instagram, that we'd get some Japanese people. That it's funny because for the English people listening to this, you might not know, but like for the last year, I've been appearing a lot on Japanese YouTube. I only have a couple of videos on my own Japanese YouTube channel. I do have a Japanese YouTube channel, but I mostly appear on other people's channels, and I'm in a lot of videos that have had gotten millions of views and stuff. And so now a lot of Japanese people know me. Most of my Instagram followers are Japanese people. So whenever, like just now I posted it on my Instagram. So now there's Japanese people that are very like, whoa, Matt, I didn't know you could speak English. Like, you're actually so good at English.
That's crazy.
Obviously joking, but...
Yeah.
It's funny because it used to be the opposite. It used to be that like everyone would be like, where's the video you speak in Japanese? Like, you only speak English all the time. Like, can you really speak Japanese? But I guess it's gone full circle.
It's crazy. That's when you know you've made it. What part of Australia am I from? I'm from Wodonga. Yeah.
That sounds crazy. Is that a real place?
Yeah, Wodonga. But I live in Melbourne. Please don't make me watch Hikaru. Why not? What's wrong with Hikaru?
I'm sure it's like partly an acquired taste, right? Like
no. Yeah. It's just not enjoyable. Nah, honestly, his new videos are good, but the old videos are a tough watch.
But there is something very like cathartic about you just being like, no, they're bad. Like, just suffer through it, because then it's kind of like you have no more excuses.
Well, you can't say they're boring. You don't understand it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. Like, even if you do it the other way around, if you started from the most recent. To be fair, I actually made this up at the start for like just a piss take. I was like, surely no one will do this because it's just same thing with what you were saying. I'm like, this is too ridiculous. But then people did it anyway, and then I started to figure out, oh, this actually really works well. One bloke, Toy Soy is his Discord name. I don't know if he's even around anymore. He just disappeared. He got so far, he finished it, and he dyed his hair like Hikaru. He maxed it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of similar to what I was saying. Like, I just said it in the video I uploaded yesterday, that when you limit the domain, it has a lot of benefits, because then you're going to progress in that domain really quickly.
Exactly.
And so rather than like basically every domain, it's like a different, like I think if you think about it like sports or about like video games, it's like, you know, if you are really, really good at one sport, then if you try to play a similar sport, it's going to carry over to a large degree, but you're still going to have to kind of start over from scratch.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? And so rather, like if you think about it, like, or same thing with instruments, right? It's like, it's better to learn one instrument to some like true level of proficiency, and then you can go and learn other instruments. You can pick them up quickly. But if right from day one you're trying to learn piano and guitar and drums all at the same time, like, you're just going to make really slow progress on all of them, basically.
That's essentially it, though, isn't it? Even like the way I do it in my like immersion lab stuff is basics, like the real foundation, like 500 words, because, you know, it's kind of universal. But then from there, you have to narrow it, pick a tiny little niche, whether it's one YouTuber or the same thing you're saying, and then branch out afterwards.
Yeah,
but it's clear. It's very clearly the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the range of vocabulary and topics, and even just there's subtle things. People think it's just vocab. It's not. It's like how do they structure their sentences, and like what topics do they talk about? The inflection, what inflection patterns do they use? They're all things your brain has to get used to. Yeah. And so when you limit the set, it helps you at least build a foundation really quickly, and then you can branch off more. So, I mean, of course, I think you would agree with this. Like you said, it's kind of like a shit post. The idea of like just watch Hikaru. Yeah. In reality, it's like you can pick a few YouTubers that are similar. That's gonna be good enough. Like you don't have to literally limit yourself that much. Yeah. But it's funny as a point to make.
It is, but it works as well, which is funny. Also, where was it? Someone said they need a Hikaru for Hakata Ben. Go watch Represent Chikyu. They're all Hakata Ben, but they're kind of a little bit over the top. You might end up speaking a little crazy, but he'll be right.
But yeah, maybe that could be legit. Like,
I ended up watching so much Represent Chikyu that I had a bit of Hakata Ben for a while.
That's funny.
It's not good. It's sus as, but.
So what about like, okay, actually, hold on. Someone is saying I'm not answering that question. Someone asked me how do I get my hair to look like this? Yeah, I got a perm. That's the answer.
But he's proper assimilated to the Japanese culture.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it helped me. I mean, I think the perm, the way the hair looks, it looks good on my head. Also helps you if you have a receding hairline, which I may or may not have. Definitely helps. Kind of
I see a suspicious amount of caps around.
Yeah. But okay, this other guy keeps saying, Matt, you're not answering my question. You say, Matt, I think this guy's posted on my other video, so let's answer the question. I'm super slow speaking and monotone in English. I've been this way since I was little, and talking fast makes me feel mentally exhausted. This makes Japanese even more exhausting. What do I do? I mean, I'm assuming you're a native English speaker and you've been like this your whole life. I mean, it kind of seems like that's just kind of how you are. So, I mean, yeah, like, well, I mean, first I would think of it as like, are you happy with how you speak English, or you've accepted you speak English and you're just trying to learn Japanese, or really do you want to improve your English first? If you have aspirations to, be able to speak more at a normal pace and less monotone, then I would start on just working with that in English. And I'm sure if you look it up, there's like a lot of content of just, even for native speakers, how do you sound more interesting in the way you speak and use more, a variety of different intonation patterns and stuff like that. So it's probably a skill you can learn. I would practice the skill. And once you've done it in English, then you can probably learn Japanese the way normal people learn Japanese, and you can carry over the skill, I imagine. But I mean, yeah, it's hard to say too much without knowing more details about your specific situation.
hold on. Someone sparred me. When? That's crazy. Can you zoom in? Is that a person's profile?
No, oh yeah.
No, it's just a random.
There you go.
Who are you, bro? Who sparred me? Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Mad. That's sick. Where was the question again? I lost it. Oh well. Someone sparred me. Come spar again.
Well, Hikaru challenge for Hyojungo. Gyakuni.
Yeah. Shibata.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Shibata.
Yeah. I actually met him one time.
No
way. Just like I just ran into him at a matsuri.
I'm so jealous. I love that guy.
Like it was just like big. It was like Torinoichi. I think it's like big matsuri in Shinjuku, and he was just standing there, like wearing a leather jacket. And I just went up and said like, oh, like I'm a big fan. Like I watch your videos in Japanese, but I think he was the type of YouTuber who like on camera and off camera are kind of opposites.
I've heard.
And so he was like very like, oh, and I took a picture with it. I have like a picture, but I got the vibe he was like, get the fuck out of here. Like
it seems to be like what he's like. Fuck, that's funny as though.
So what about you? Do you think how different do you feel like off camera versus on camera?
Who, you or me?
No, you.
I'm probably the same.
Yeah. Maybe. I feel like you play things up maybe a little bit.
I have to because it's boring otherwise. Like if I'm just talking to people.
Yeah. But it's more like just your normal you plus 10-20% extra.
Maybe sometimes it's a lot more. Like just to be funny about it. But there's a bit of like people think it's like I think a lot of Americans like anyway, but there was like I think a lot of Americans don't understand Australian humor a bit. So like when I'm like taking the piss out of people for watching anime, that's like you do that and then you kind of expect them to say something back. Yeah, people just get upset and it just makes me want to do it more because it's funny.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. That's interesting.
Like if I say something like, you're a little weirdo because you do that. And then they say something back. Then it's funny, and we'll just bounce off each other. But people just get upset, and then that's even more funny to me. So I just keep going, and it helps with the views. So
yeah. I mean, you get the engagement.
Yeah,
that's funny. So like in that case, hearing that, I was gonna ask you a second ago, like what you think the difference between like Australian comedy versus American comedy versus Japanese comedy. But hearing that, it almost sounds like the gap between Australian comedy and Japanese comedy would be even bigger than America.
Oh, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, because like Japanese people don't take this, take piss on each other at all. God. They're all about. I mean, maybe a little. Nah. No, they don't. They only do the tsukomi if somebody does the bokeh on purpose. Usually
in Kansai, there's a bit of that. Like some of my Kansai friends had told me when they were in high school, they'd have like someone come to like their school, like move from Tokyo to Kansai, and they'd always cry on their first day because they think they're being bullied, but people are just having a laugh. So like, I reckon with Kansai people, it's a lot easier for me. But for instance, my my girlfriend Destiny, we were in a gym the other day, like training, and she was like making fun of someone, like just as having a laugh.
Yeah.
And he just got upset. Like, you could just tell he was like, "Oh, okay, sick." And then she felt bad, had to like apologize to him. She's like, "Oh, I kind of maybe I upset him," but it was like just like a normal thing. Like it was it was like a fighter who's not normally my size, and he ballooned up like 15-20 kilos after his fight, like a big, and just said something funny to him, and he's like, "Oh, don't you think that's a bit much?" It's like, fuck it, all right. Yeah,
I guess
Japanese humor is a bit difficult. It took me a while to get used to it, especially in Tokyo. Like you kind of got to be like on eggshells a bit. Like I can't just have a laugh with people. But in Kansai, it feels like I think that's one of the reasons I was drawn to it as well.
Yeah.
It feels like the people I was talking to, especially because I was learning while I was in school, like 18, what was it? I'll be like 16, 17 sort of time, end of 16, mainly 17. Talking to other high school kids and just wanting to like have a laugh and joke around. Don't really have much time for serious conversations. Yeah. People from Tokyo would be just, annoying.
Yeah, I mean, Kansai people say the same thing when they talk about interacting with people from Tokyo. That like, they say like, they're moshirukunai. Yeah. Like basically like they're boring to talk to. They're just boring people in general. They're not funny. So. Yeah. It's
kind of, it's funny. There's definitely a part of that though, that like, I think it's easier to be used to Japanese humor for Kansai from Australians as well. Like coming to Tokyo, I feel like I can't joke with people. You got to be kind of like more serious. Yeah. But
although part of that might just also be because you trained in Kansai Japanese, and so if you bring those Kansai sensibilities to Tokyo, like even like I said, it's like
there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that. Yeah, honestly, there's a bit of that. But honestly, like I've spent so much time around Tokyo people. Like all my, like a fair amount of my good Japanese friends were from Tokyo. Especially now because I like a lot of the people I sponsor from my boxing business, they're all from Tokyo, a lot of them, and I'm good friends with them. So I'm used to being around Tokyo people, but still, like I feel like I can't like get that close to them because I can't joke around with them.
Yeah, and I feel like there's more of a range of Tokyo people. It's like Kansai people, you like almost all of them are on the same page. With,
pretty much.
With like the nori, whereas there's like some really funny Tokyo people and other people that are just like not at all.
For sure.
It's like more person by person.
Well, I had a lot of friends like when I don't know about maybe not for you, but for me, all of my good friends when I started learning Japanese were either like Yankee or Gyaru. Either one or the other. They're the only people I talked to because it was just more entertaining. Yeah. So like, there's like a lot of these like Yankee blokes I was friends with in Tokyo, and they would have. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, most of my close original Japanese friends were from Tokyo, but one of my close friends was really from Osaka. Yeah. And I'm still friends with her to this day. This girl, she was on my channel once many years ago, but it's funny because like I think I'm not familiar enough with Osaka to say the details, but my sense is even within Osaka, there's a bunch of kind of different sub-dialects. Yeah. Right? And then she speaks one that, like, so I don't know what it's called or what area it's from, but, like, she has this one type of dialect of the, like, super thick Kansai.
Yeah. Super cool. It really depends, but yeah.
Yeah, and so she was the first Kansai band I came in contact with. Like, when I hear other people that must be from that same part of Osaka and they kind of have a similar Kansai band, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this person speaks exactly like Sachet does. Yeah. And there's something, like, very unique about it. Like, it goes beyond just the pitch accent and the sentence enders. Like, there's whole expressions that they say. Yeah. That, that they don't say in other dialects, Yeah. I wish I could remember some of the actual examples.
Look at this guy.
Matt vs. Japan, formerly cringe person. Conversing with a permanently cringe person live on stream.
Buddy, you're an adult with an anime picture. It's time to it's time to lock in, lad.
Oh, I think this guy was in Immersion Dojo at one point.
He's not anymore?
I don't think so. I think he came in and he asked one question.
He didn't like what he saw.
And then I answered his question. Yeah. And then he just ghosted me. And then he like went onto the ALG subreddit and then like wrote like Matt vs. Japan gave me all these ideas. What do you guys think? And like posted all about everything I told him, but then never said anything to me or acknowledged, came back and thanked me or anything. But that's how it is on the internet.
Yeah, good stuff, bro. Been watching everything in subs, right? No, if you're watching with subs, and it's not that deep, bro. To be quite honest with you, like if you're watching with subs for a year and a half, cooked on accents and it's close to reading, you're still listening to it. And like at the end of the day, if you train your ear good enough, you'll be right in the end of the day. As long as you kind of are aware of that. I think the problem is when people just don't try and improve their ear for Japanese and they just assume that they're speaking everything right and they just don't question themselves. Like if you're just speaking constantly and you don't question everything you say and how you say it, that's when you form like weird little things, you know what I mean?
Although I don't know, I think some people, there's probably some different pattern, like
there's definitely
there's some people that like literally only immerse with subtitles and they only understand with subtitles, and when they turn off subtitles, their comprehension completely plummets, which basically tells me that like they basically are just reading, they're not really hearing it.
That's true. Yeah.
And of course I think it's much better than if you just are sitting down and reading a book. I think it's like a gradient. I think that it's like you're not gonna be you're not as cooked as somebody that's like literally just reading a book silently. Yeah. But you're not nearly as well off and as someone who truly learned with no subtitles. In fact, true. And you're probably closer to the person reading the book, in my opinion, rather than the other person.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because I watched all Japanese YouTube and they all have hard subtitles and I never really cared.
But I think there's kind of like
they're kind of different subtitles actually. Because they're not actually saying what they say. It's like an abbreviated form of it.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like there's kind of like there's like an inflection point of like some people that take a listening based approach. Yeah. Like their reading is so weak that even if the subtitles are there, they're relying on their listening to get the meaning more than their what they're seeing. Right. Maybe you're in that category. And so in that case, it's like the subtitles could be there or not be there. They're not even helping you that much. Yeah. Whereas that's different than the people that like when you turn the subtitles off, their comprehension disappears. And they're basically just reading the subs for the comprehension.
Yeah.
So I feel like with YouTube subs, it's like they're not consistent enough for you to develop that reliance, right?
That's true. Yeah,
they're like sometimes they're there, sometimes
it's true. You don't rely on it.
Yeah, if you're only there for the big points, something like you said, they're slightly different.
Okay, I understand what you mean now. That's definitely true. If you're watching like, say, you're watching TV shows or something like that, locked in with the subtitles, that's definitely a different thing.
Yeah, like especially like not the ones that YouTubers edit on, but like the ones where
it's one for one what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then you read it exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. I can understand what you mean.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of people like that of like the issue that I found is also just the problem with like they develop an ego around being like, oh, I'm pretty good at Japanese, like I can understand like native content, but when they turn the subtitles off, they're like back to being a beginner.
That's
true.
So
they can't turn. It's like too painful to turn it off because they're like it's like such an ego hit to go back to understanding so little.
Yeah, I suppose you got to be like a bit more humble with that. I think like you need to put yourself constantly in uncomfortable situations as well. Like, for instance, I get, like, pissed off listening to some Kansai people because they're just so strong in Kansai and they slur their speech. That there's this guy on YouTube that I watch a fair bit called Waiwai. He does, like, game jikkyo. He speaks so fast with such crazy, like, Kansai band. He's from Nara. It's cooked. Like, even now, I've been listening to him for years and it's, like, just a blur sometimes. Because he uses so much, like... He's like a real like Oojiman, so he just uses a lot of like
that's a good practice.
Dialect words.
I should listen to that. Yeah,
you should listen to him, and you'll be like, because I've never heard anyone who speaks like him. It's crazy.
Yeah, but native speakers have no trouble, right? I assume.
No idea, actually. I'd be curious to
ask. Because like one time I went to this izakaya with my girlfriend. Yeah. And it was like one of those super local ones, and it was just run by like an old lady, old man couple. Yeah. And no one else was in there, and it was really small. So they like sat us at the counter, and they were standing right on the other side, and they were just talking to us the entire time. Yeah. And I could only understand like half what they were saying.
Yeah,
it was
like
super slurred. Actually, I think they were from Kansai, or at least the grandpa was from Kansai, and he was super slurring his speech. No katsuzetsu at all, and I was like, trying to guess what he was saying and kind of like, pretending like I understood. And then when I left, my girlfriend immediately was like, I couldn't understand like half what they were saying. Yeah, and I was like, oh, thank God, it made me feel so much better.
Well, it's like like a lot of people, they talk to like Scottish people or from Ireland or stuff, and a lot of Americans especially have trouble understanding what they're saying. So I think it's a similar thing to that. Yeah, like you got a real strong Scottish accent is hard.
Yeah, I think it depends. It's like. Like, there's definitely, in this case, what I was talking about, it's like you said, the Scottish accent, but there's a good chance that the YouTuber you said, native speakers have no trouble with. It's like, there's the range with which native speakers can handle no problem. Just like most British people I can understand, right? Yeah. But as a learner, it still takes more, like, you have to go out of your way to train the different domains to fully catch up to what native speakers can do.
Yeah. Like, this one, though, is interesting because he's been, like, for a good few years was my number one person I listened to. And, like, 99% of it's fine, but then he just speaks insanely fast, weird dialect stuff, and then it's difficult. It'd be interesting. Hikaru is easier for you than YY, of course. Yeah, way easier. YY is way harder. It depends what you're watching. If you're just watching him and trying to understand what he's saying, it's easy. But if you're trying to actually hear every little detail of the speech, this is the thing. People think like if understanding is all there is to learning Japanese, but once you get past the understanding part, then it's the little details of particles and just every little inflection in every part of that speech. That's the difficulty. So when he's like screaming something and then using all this like abbreviated concept and is like, I can't even think of an example. Like he's like that. You know how they go like senakan or stuff like that. He'll do that really fast for a whole sentence and drop out half the words you need, and be screaming and he doesn't pronounce it properly. And he kind of whispers and mumbles half of it, and he's smoking a cigarette while he does it. It's like actually picking out every little detail of that. That's where it's hard. It's not understanding it. He doesn't use difficult words.
Yeah, that like reminds me of how I was actually looking into recently. There's this thing called audio processing disorder. Yeah, which is basically something that happens to native speakers. Yeah, where in a normal environment like this, they can understand everything no problem. Obviously, they're like native speakers, but if they're at a noisy environment, they have like a way harder time than other people filtering out the noise in the environment. I think I have this to like a degree where like even in English, I'll be in a noisy environment and it's like I used to just think maybe I had bad hearing. But the thing is like I'm hearing everything in the environment super clearly. Yeah. In fact, I'm hearing it so clearly that's why I can't hear what the person in front of me is saying because of like the noise in the environment. But there's this like scientifically proven training you can do to improve this. Yeah. Which I think you could use as a language learning technique. Which is basically just well the way that they do it is you listen to something that you can't hear. Yeah. Or like for example you're trying to listen to one thing where you have background music, where you have like noise on in the background. Yeah. And then if you don't hear something, then you try to hear it and then you pause it and then you like look at the subtitles and then see what was on afterwards. Yeah, okay. And so you can do that. But I think a similar thing is that basically, you just gotta. I mean, ultimately, what it boils down to is you just gotta push yourself to your limit and listen to things you don't understand all the way.
Pretty
and
much.
Then as you listen, and your brain slowly like figures it out.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is the learning happens in the moments where you do understand something.
Yeah.
Like I remember someone said something a long time ago that always stuck with me of like when you're like practicing free throws or something, right? Or like you're trying to get better. It's like obviously you have to be doing something that you haven't mastered yet.
Yeah.
Like if you're just practicing what you already have down, you're not going to get any better.
That's true.
And so people associate, would say you're trying to get better at free throws. People are associated in like the moments where you're throwing and you're missing. That's when the learning happens.
Yeah.
But in reality, the most learning happens in the moment where you get it right.
Pretty much.
It's like, you know, you maybe you shoot 5, you get them all wrong, and then you shoot 1, it goes in. That's when your brain is like, oh, I just experienced how it works.
Yeah.
It's like it's like random trial and error, and then it clicks, and then your brain like saves that.
Yeah.
So it's a similar thing of like when you're listening, and you have to be putting yourself out of your comfort zone, which means you're not going to be understanding. But when you hear something you didn't understand it, you didn't really learn anything.
Yeah.
You learn in the moment where you happen to actually understand something and have like a little breakthrough.
Yeah.
But in order to get those moments where you understood something that pushed you outside of what you've already mastered, you have to be in an area where there's also lots of things that you don't understand. You know, so you have to.
That is the only way. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to deal with that ambiguity.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing. But yeah, always putting yourself in positions where you don't understand it is by far the most important thing.
Yeah, of course, you need to be understanding something, but in reality, you're always going to understand something if you're paying attention. You know? Like,
and a lot of the time, I think people are deceived about how much they actually understand because obviously, if you don't understand everything, you can't know what percentage of it you don't understand.
Yeah, that's true.
So I always found when I was learning, even after a year, I thought I understood everything because I could understand the meaning of everything. But then it's almost like listening to someone speak, with a lot of background noise, and you can't hear all the details, but you still understand everything they're saying. And then over the next year, over the year after that as well, and then every year following, you go, oh, there's all these little details that I never picked up on.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing with pitch accent where you start learning it and you're like, I think I understand a bit. But then after a while, it's like, this is so obvious.
Yeah.
That it's like, how did I not realize?
Yeah, and there's so many levels to it. Because I mean, so many people that are like, oh no, I can hear the pitch accent. Like, I can hear when I get it wrong. And the thing is, you can hear when you get it wrong sometimes. Yeah. And people think because they have experiences of saying something, experiencing, oh, that didn't sound right. Yeah. And then fixing it, they're like, oh, so I must be able to hear pitch accent. But you don't know how much you're not hearing. Exactly. It's not 0 or 100. Like a lot of times, you're hearing like 30% of it, but then there's all the rest of the time you're still making mistakes and you're just not noticing. So the thing is, like you said, by definition, you don't know what you're missing. It's like it's an unknown, you know.
Yeah, it's a hard thing as well, like because you can't find anyone who's going to be honest with you, Japanese people.
Yeah, it's so hard.
For one, even if someone's really used to hearing you speak, like if you've got any friends, like people watching who are foreign people. And you're used to talking to them all the time, you get so used to how they speak. Yeah, they actually sound better than what they sound like to someone talking to them.
Your brain is just accepted that it's like a dialect.
Yeah, exactly.
Their specific accent or
like whatever. My grandfather was from Slovakia, and none of my friends could understand him. But to me, it's like, how can't you? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, so he speaks so clear. What are you talking about? But I'm just so used to it. So like, he sounds like a closer to native speaker of English to me than he does sound to anyone else. So it's hard. Like, even if you get a Japanese friend who you're really close to, and you think they'll be honest with you, they're so used to how you speak, you're probably going to sound perfect to them.
That's a good point. It's like a paradox. It's like as soon as you get close to them, they'll be honest with you. Then like they can't give us valuable feedback anymore because they're too used to like how you speak. And
not just that, then you say, okay, I'll pay a dialect coach some, and then they're just going to go way too over the top. They're going to compare you to like not a native speaker, but something like their reference point is like perfect Japanese, whatever, you know what I mean? Like an announcer or something like that. Yeah. So like they might tell you things are wrong, but it's only wrong because it's not classic traditional Japanese, but people say it all the time.
Yeah, there's that, or also like I have like an accent teacher that I worked with for a while. Yeah. And now we're kind of just like friends. Yeah. But what I realized over time is that, I mean, like when you get to the very highest level, right, which is where we're at, of course there's always room for improvement. Yeah. But it's not always clear cut what is like wrong or not wrong or improvement or not improvement. It comes into like every native speaker has their own preferences. What I started to realize is a lot of what she was giving me feedback on is like she thinks that certain Japanese people sound good when they talk. Like she prefers certain ways of
that's what sort of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, other people prefer other styles of speaking, and she was making me like you know, her gonomi, like you know.
Yeah, that's all it is. And there's a lot of that. Like people just don't have an objective. Like what is an objective view of what is correct, especially in a language like Japanese with so many dialects. Like if I taught someone to speak English, I'm gonna teach them like Australian stuff. Then you might go and talk to them and go, what is going on here?
Like, yeah, even within Australia, of course, there's like different stuff. So
there is,
like, around the boundaries, it gets blurry. So yeah, it's hard.
It is really, yeah.
I want to answer this question so I can scroll down because this guy asked me to answer this question like a bunch of times.
Oh, okay.
So he said, if I only know 1,000 words, is it better to use CIJ or go straight into Hikaru challenge? I mean, CIJ is comprehensible input Japanese.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is like
I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, to anyone else listening who doesn't know, that's like this basically they make videos purposely that are comprehensible even to people that are beginners, and they have a couple hundred hours of content and it's like graded, it gets harder and harder. So I think that like I used to be against it, but I think now like if you're brand new, you only know 1,000 words, if you're not going to understand almost anything if you jump into like Hikaru. Whereas if you watch this, then you're going to understand it. You're like it's going to help you build a foundation because you need to be comprehending input. So I would say the most efficient path is use CIJ to build a foundation and then move over. The key is to not get stuck there and spend too much time there.
That's the hard part.
Because it's easy to kind of get stuck. Because basically, I call it the dark night of the soul of immersion, where like there's this point right now where if you consume all of the comprehensible input content, then you'll get to a point where it's too easy for you. All you've done anything made for a learner is too easy, but anything made for a native still too hard.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And so it's easy to be like, oh, I guess I'm not ready yet, and you just stay in the kind of kiddie pool. But ultimately you have to make that jump, and it's always going to be like really hard at first. But I think it's kind of a fallacy to say like just because that is the case, you have to make the jump from day one, and you can't have the training wheels like for a little bit. I still think the training wheels help. Just the key is to realize like, okay, when is it time to take them off?
Yeah, I think there's that way, and then there's also the thing I always advocate for, which is just get one video with soft subtitles, and then like a shorter one preferably. So like maybe one of Hikaru's early videos that are 15 minutes long. Download the soft subtitles, learn every single word in there, read through all the subtitles so you understand it all. So you're going to understand the video, and then just listen to it over and over again until you can pass the video.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I'm kind of actually doing that in Chinese right now.
Oh, really?
Because like
it works well, I reckon.
Yeah. I mean, I started using some comprehensible input content, but I mean, again, it also kind of comes down to to a degree to your preferences, because like some people, like they, for example, like basically you have to pick your poison, right? Either you're going to be watching boring content that's more comprehensible, or content that's genuinely more interesting but not as comprehensible. So either way, it's kind of like it has a downside. And so for some people, like for me, my type, I would rather be struggling more but have interesting content. But for other people, it's the opposite, and that it's like a lot. They can put up with the boringness as long as they comprehend it more.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it depends on who you're tailoring this approach for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like maybe you're a bit more broad to people.
Yeah.
You're trying to get people who aren't as serious. No, I wouldn't say serious, but aren't as willing to go through like immense amount of uncomfortableness at the start and want a more easy path. Whereas I'm probably more on the side of like, let's just suffer for a bit. To end up good in the end. And it might be more of a direct path, but without the training wheels.
Yeah, like I think actually in the last like workshop that I did for Immersion Dojo, we were talking about this. Someone used the way that someone framed the question is gym mentality versus amusement park mentality.
Pretty much.
Where like when you go to the gym, no one's going to the gym like, I mean, most people that go to the gym long term learn to enjoy it and look forward to it. But at the same time, you're basically, everyone knows it's pain. Like you're going to experience pain.
Exactly.
Right. And you can learn to actually experience like the pain as a certain type of pleasure. In a certain way, but it's not the same type of pleasure as like going and eating candy.
No, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. And I suppose for me, coming from like a martial arts MMA background, the first few years you go to the gym and you just get belted. You know what I mean? Like that was my experience. Especially I'm a smaller guy, a flyweight, like the lowest weight class. Everyone's bigger than me. I'd go to the gym every day and just get bashed, you know? And so I'm used to that feeling. But then you start to see little improvements, and then in the end, you're better off because you've gone through, like I've noticed people who've gone both ways. Ones who jump straight in the deep end, for this is talking in the context of MMA, jump straight in the deep end, not with people who are going to hurt you, but you know, because that's a different thing altogether, but rough, just getting destroyed every single time. And then the other path, slowly build your way up, better and better people, training a little bit, you know, I think I did enough today, you know, like that sort of mentality. There's a very clear difference in outcome. You know? So it is a preference, whether you're doing like...
And so you're saying the outcome where people throw themselves into the deep end is better?
Only because of the fact that you're comfortable with the suffering.
Yeah.
Not because of the method itself,
Yeah.
but you get so used to that feeling that you're going to inevitably have to go through anyway.
Yeah.
That you're used to it. So you continue with that feeling. You never have to go from fun to suffering a bit to fun again.
Yeah.
You just expect it from the start. And then it's suffering. But then in the end, there was no clear time where you jumped from the easy fun part to the suffering. So next thing you know, you've done it for 6 months and you're like, oh, hold on. Look where I've ended up. And then it becomes fun, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you can stomach that and become one of those people, that is the ideal. But I think realistically, most people are never going to be able to pull it off.
I agree. But I think my stuff is for those niche people.
I respect that. And I think a lot of people, the tricky thing is a lot of people have akogare for that method. Like I see a lot of people like this where they're like, you know, that's the type of person they want to be.
Yeah.
But they're just not that type of person.
Yeah.
And they keep like basically like, I think here's the thing. It's like you can, if you resonate with this philosophy, kind of a philosophy of life, you should try it.
Yeah.
But if you try a bunch of times and every time you fail,
yeah.
like you're one of the people that like you try to take the cold shower and you do it one time and then you never do it again. Like too much because you just can't stomach it. Yeah. It's like at some point you have to realize like, okay, I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
And like this is the way I think about it is like if you're not that type of person, you don't have enough discipline essentially, right?
Yeah.
Then if you are design your Japanese approach so that it's reliant on discipline for you to succeed.
Yeah.
Then and you don't have enough discipline. You're saying like you're only going to succeed in learning Japanese if you fundamentally become a better person.
Essentially.
Like yeah, it's good to try to become a better person, but if you want to succeed in Japanese, I wouldn't base your approach on you fundamentally becoming a better person because that's very rare in life, right? For someone to just to go from being non-disciplined to being disciplined. So what I would try to do like a two-pronged approach where like always be aspiring to be more disciplined, but like at some point just be honest with yourself and be like, I mean, if it's not you, be like this isn't me. But I still want to succeed in learning Japanese, so let me try to rearrange my approach so that it's like palatable to me. You know?
I think definitely. Like if you just physically can't do it, sure. I suppose I have a bit more of a like just tough it up kind of mentality.
Yeah, I mean, but it's tricky because like for example, in your case, basically I'd say there's three categories of people. There's people who they're gonna do that whether you tell them or not. That's just in their nature, right? They're badass people. There's other people that are just never going to do that no matter what.
No, they won't.
And then there's these people in the middle that they could go either way. And you encouraging them might be the thing that pushes them over the edge, and then they do it.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Exactly. So I feel like I understand the merit in your approach of being a hard ass. Is actually, it brings out the best in a certain number of people.
For sure. You need to be at that predisposition though.
Yeah, but the problem is you lose the people in that other category. In the category of people that just can't do it. They end up just they try it, they fail, and then they just fail.
And then they get upset with you.
Yeah. So I think I think that's why it's not like I think you should exist.
You need both.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think I try to have a more balanced approach because I'm kind of thinking like, well, what's actually gonna I mean, I try to explain this whole thing and be like, basically, if you're the type of person that can really stomach it, I'll send them. Then you should do your approach, basically.
Yeah.
But I feel like in reality, most people are not. It's not like 30%, 30%, 30%. It's more like maybe 5% are naturally like it.
Yeah, I'd say that.
And then maybe another 20% can go either way.
Yeah.
And then more than 50% like just are never gonna stomach it. And so their best shot for getting fluent in Japanese is to find a way to enjoy the process.
100%. No, I agree completely. But like you said, there needs to be. This is why we can coexist, you know what I mean? Both teaching essentially the same method, which is funny, but like because I learned it from you.
Yeah, and then in a way I became more like you as well, like over time.
Yeah, which is funny, but it's just coincidental, honestly. But I mean, that's part of the thing. You see other people pop up, and you adjust. This is the problem. Some people don't pretend not to notice it, and they stick with what they used to say, and they don't adjust it, and then they disappear because people realize they're full of shit. But
I do think it's like kind of like, I mean, I think overall most people, like for example, when I update my ideas and I try to explain why I updated them, I'm literally like what it means to be rational is that when you are presented with evidence that contradicts your current view, you update your view.
That is science.
But there's always people that are like oh, you're contradicting yourself.
Oh,
like you're
don't get me started.
Like oh, you're just full of shit.
Like with my YouTube, I disappeared for like a few years, and then I came back and said something else. They're like, well, you didn't say this in this video. I'm like, mate, I was like 19 years old. That was 5 years ago. Wouldn't it be more crazy if after 5 years I hadn't learned anything?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you expect?
Exactly.
You don't just form an opinion in life and then that's like real ride or die. You stick with that.
I mean, there are people that do that, but that's actually a red flag.
It is. Well, then you go, oh, well, you're not adjusting what you believe based upon what you see.
That's, I think, basically the number one sign of someone being a fake guru is if someone's claiming to always have the answers.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't need to update my opinion because I already literally know everything. It's like, well, then they're full of shit by definition. You know?
Exactly.
No one knows everything.
Exactly.
So,
well, that's the thing as well. Even like what we're talking about, where you have a more broad approach where everyone can. How old am I? I'm 24, but. Where people have a more broad sort of approach, you can get people who are kind of chill, bit hard, and then people who want to take it all works, you know, with your stuff. Whereas for me, I go like, I don't understand those people who can't put it because I'm not like that. So to me, it's like, why tailor it for that? I'm just gonna go. You're already doing that. You know what I mean? That's already. I already see that in the market. There's no gaps there in the market. Everyone's already doing that. Matt's doing a fucking great job at it. So I'm like, all right, let's just take it to my, you know, I'm pretty much like, what this, fuck off. Yeah, have disavowed the 19-year-old. No, I still think all that same stuff about anime. But, yeah. So, but then I saw a gap of like, there's no one really now being like willing to be despised by upsetting people. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be a bit of a dickhead and upset people and just give that extreme approach for the people who want it, because there isn't anyone out in the mainstream, say Instagram especially, doing that approach.
Yeah. And for the most part, the way I think about it is, since we think the same things and most of what we think is not shared amongst the broader community. So ultimately, it's not really me versus you. It's more like us versus most people who still like, I mean, now it's kind of like double layered, because the reality is that most people don't even get input. No. And they're still like using Genki to study. And
my
like,
god, yeah, it's not good.
So like still like more than half of people trying to learn Japanese are still literally in the dark ages. And then within the immersion learning community, then now still there's most people think you should like do reading and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
sure.
we're fighting the same fight, and to the extent which we win that battle, like both of us will, you know, benefit from that.
Exactly. So. And it's at the end of the day, like you said, look how many people are out there teaching Japanese, and it's just absolute garbage.
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
vast majority.
It's like very. Yeah, you need multiple people to be sort of combating this front to bring immersion learning to the front. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing. But it's funny how much hate I get.
Oh, yeah? I mean, I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, well, especially because, like, you're in your newer content on Instagram, you're being intentionally very inflammatory, right?
Yeah, because
you're
it's
purposely
funny.
you're purposely pissing people off. So, I mean, you'd kind of be failing if you weren't pissing them off.
Yeah,
you know?
But the thing is that it's me trying to piss them off with... not things that I don't believe. I believe all the things I'm saying. I just say it in a way where I know it's going to get... I just pick the things that are going to upset people, because the thing, how it goes, and you would know, you've done the same stuff back in the day when you were a young angsty teenager.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, you see some stuff that you believe strongly, but you're like, if I say this is going to upset a lot of people. Yeah. But I'm going to say it anyway because it's true, and I want to spark this debate. I want to get people rolled up, and a lot of people will watch it. Maybe most people even will watch it and go, this guy's full of shit. But then the maybe 3 people out of that see that and go, this guy's onto something, fall into that method. Yeah. And then these people go on to actually learn amazing Japanese. It's the same for me watching your content. Yeah. You had said some stuff that was pretty inflammatory. I don't know if that's the way to, you know, you're just trying to spark a bit of debate. And I see it, a lot of people giving you hate, and I see it, I'm like, this guy's a funny cunt. You know what? Like, he's got a good point as well. And then that leads you on, you know, the rabbit hole of reading. Yeah, you know,
like everything. I think that's the thing, is that like the delivery method changes who the message resonates with. Even though it's kind of fundamentally the same message. Like,
it is.
Yeah, I used to be just like you said, kind of like, oh, like you. So, and then I kind of changed over time because what I realized is that the way that I was delivering the message was preventing it from reaching people that it might reach otherwise. Yeah. And so I kind of, you know, started to be like kind of, in a way, tone it down, but also try to be more slow and methodical and build these logical arguments and things like that. And so then there's a lot of people that were like, your stuff's boring now. Like, your stuff sucks now. Like, you used to be so based and raw, and now you're fucking kind of being a pussy. Like,
well, people don't understand it though, because your ceiling is much higher than mine.
I think so.
Because you can reach more people. You know what I mean? In terms of your message will be. Like, if you went and opened up a physical school or something like that. Yeah. Or if you went and really mainstreamed this, like wrote a book and did all that stuff, it would resonate with a lot more people. Like, you could have the hopes of taking over Genki.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
terms of the applicability to everyone.
That'd be hard, but
It will be hard, but in terms of like, in theory, you have the applicability.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah, I can tell where you're taking a hardcore method, immersion, very hardcore, and you're presenting it in a way that it resonates with more people.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas, and then you've left that old map behind, which still exists, I'm sure.
Yeah, but yeah, of course.
But then you go, I'm gonna, go out and seek bigger things. So I see that, and I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to go.
Yeah. When thinking about it this way, I'm really glad you kind of like took over the mantle of the mantle of the guy who had like back in the day when I made a video just shitting on George because he couldn't read kanji.
That was so funny. But see, this is the thing again from the Australian humor. I see that and I'm like, that's fucking funny. And people get upset, but it's like, why? For one, it's true. It was true.
Well, people get their feelings hurt very easily.
Yeah, and it's true. And I love George as well. Like I was
same.
Before, right when I first started trying to get into things, I watched him for the tiniest bit, and that's how I found your stuff from that video of you taking the piss out of him. And then I saw him come back and make fun of your t-shirt of all your faces, and I'm like, this is mad. This is a good. Yeah. And then I thought
that was a lot of fun.
And then to me, that's more, that's funny then. But then it leads people into your content, and then it was entertaining. But that sort of stuff.
And the thing is, the people with your type of approach, it may resonate with less total people, but the people it does resonate with are become super passionate.
Yeah, for sure. And that was me for
that's really
your content as well.
Yeah.
It's that's why I was so strong on the method, because I'm I see the results for one, and then you go, okay, if I do exactly what this guy's done, the method itself makes sense. If you just immerse yourself in the language, why would that not work? Yeah. That's the thing that doesn't make any sense to me. People say, how that wouldn't work. It's okay, so what do you propose then?
Yeah. It's
do we pull out the textbooks and start doing the grammar drills?
Yeah. And I think it's kind of thing it's similar, like I said, at first I was in theory, all listening should be better. Yeah. But who's going to do that though? So that's why I kind of wrote it up. And then you just fucking did it. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, well, then I did it. And then I'm like, oh, this is mad. And then the thing that I did in, at the same time is heaps of listening and heaps of speaking.
Yeah.
That was the one thing you said.
Thing too. Yeah.
You said no early output. And I was like, you know what? I can't be fucked.
Yeah, and then that's why people like you and that's what the video I made yesterday was basically saying that.
Yeah.
Not that you should output from day one, but that you should output after maybe 1,000 hours, which is way earlier than what I used to say.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you're one of the reasons why I had to rethink that, because it's the evidence just isn't there. There's all these people that waited forever. Yeah. They don't sound that good.
They actually a lot of them sound worse.
Yeah, exactly. And then the people and you're not the only one. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this who started outputting very early and did all listening and had a ton of immersion, and they're the ones that sound the best in the end.
Yeah, and I think as well, immersing in just not just immersing in listening, but specifically native content. Not native content, but unscripted content. Yeah. Like when you're talking about YouTube, podcasts, etc. Podcasts weren't really a thing when I was starting. Japan's always about 5 years behind everything. So I couldn't find any podcasts. It was a couple, but mainly just, what's it called? Just watching YouTube, YouTube that was garbage, honestly. But I enjoyed it because, luckily enough, I was only 17.
Yeah, and they sound like normal. They sound like real people. In a way, I was just thinking, because I also uploaded last week a video about the downsides of learning from anime. Yeah. And of course, a lot of people got pissed off. And I'm like, is it that surprising that you should actually listen to people that sound like how you want to sound?
That's why I'm and people are like, oh, there'll be no, it's slice of life anime. It's the same thing. It's mate, the fact
doesn't sound anything.
The fact that you say that, that's how I know you don't know shit.
Yeah.
Because it's if anyone else, me or you listen to slice of life or a Japanese person, it sounds like a slice of life anime.
Yeah, it doesn't sound anything like that.
It doesn't sound like...
The thing is, these voice actors literally are trained to sound... They need to get trained to sound like that.
Exactly.
They don't just sound like that naturally.
It would be more funny if they actually... if you had normal people voicing the slice of life. It would feel so weird.
Yeah, it would. That's, in a way, that's almost why I feel sometimes... there's some anime... or anime-like shows made by people in the West.
Yeah.
That are English, originally English. And it feels kind of weird when you watch it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the voices actually do sound more natural.
Yeah.
It's the art is abstracted from how people actually look, but then they talk the way that people actually talk, and then there's kind of a mismatch there.
Yeah,
it's an weird anime. I've had this kind of idea in my head for many years of whenever you take how people look in real life, and whatever degree you have to abstract that out to get how anime look physically, the language is equally abstracted away.
Yeah, exactly. Know? It's genuinely true. Even this, what's your thoughts on dramas? Same thing. At the end of the day,
It's not as bad, but it's not the same thing as...
Look, think of it this way. They sit down there, exactly, grown men talking talking like anime schoolers. Exactly. It's like, bro, I see it, and it's fucking weird to see people talk like that. But look, even with drama, people, sit down and they write the scripts for this.
Yeah.
Every sentence is perfect. Everything's articulated.
Well, and the other thing you have to understand is that in the West, for the most part, when people create fiction, their goal is to have it be realistic.
Yeah, but Japanese...
Yeah, but for us, we view, like, the goal of fiction is, like, the more realistic it is, the more you're going to be able to enter the story.
Exactly.
And then the more that you're going to have it's going to have an emotional impact. But in Japan, their goal is not to make it sound realistic.
No.
They're almost, I think almost the Japanese mindset is almost like, well, if it's going to be the same as real life, what's the point of the fiction? I could just go experience that in real life.
Exactly.
I'm trying to experience fantasy here.
Yeah.
And so... Like, because the other thing that I really noticed, especially after moving to Japan, is that, like, the way that people, not just the language, the way that people interact in dramas is nothing like the way Japanese people really interact with each other. And if you took the way that Japanese people actually interacted it and put it in a drama, it'd kind of be really boring.
Yeah,
at a lot of
100%.
They're like they're like 3 steps removed and everything. They never speak directly.
No.
It would be kind of like, it'd kind of be a pain to watch. You'd be watching it, does he really mean this, or is he just being polite? Or,
yeah, exactly. And the thing is as well, because it's a fiction and it's written out and it's orchestrated. It's to a degree, it's like getting a book and animating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but then at the same time, if say you go watch like Represent or Hikaru videos and there's like 5 people in there, you see the natural, like there's a lot of videos of Hikaru where they just go eat yakiniku and sit around a table and laugh with each other. There's a lot of things you see there. You see the relationship between these people. Oh, he's older, he's younger. So he's going to talk to him this way, but he talks to this guy this way. This guy's older than this guy, but they've been friends for 10 years. So he uses this sort of like keigo with him. A little bit different. You see how they bounce off each other in the thing, the rhythm of speech. You see the way they joke with each other as well. What do they say that's funny? And what do everyone laugh from? Like, then you start to learn how to be funny in that language as well.
Yeah.
And be interesting. And not just that, you learn how people listen. Like in dramas, it'll just be one person speak, then line for line, right? But like I'm talking to you right now, you're going to say little things back to me.
Yeah, that's true. Like Aizuchi, they almost never have that in Japanese fiction.
No, why would they? It'd be fucking strange. It's like on the phone. No one picks up a phone and goes, "Hello, who's this?" You know, in a what's it called, drama. Yeah. Everyone picks up the phone and just immediately into the conversation. You know what I mean? They don't have the like introductions of things. There's no aizuchi in dramas, whereas like that's such a huge thing in Japanese.
Oh yeah, it's like that's the total core of the way they communicate with each other.
They feel weird if you don't do it.
Yeah, I think another interesting point though, especially I'd like to hear your take on this, is some people argue against what you're saying, being like, well, YouTubers know that they're on camera and they're trying to speak extra well and they're trying to be entertaining. It's like, that's true to a degree, but that's like maybe, like the difference here is like, if you have like a spectrum here. Let me do this so I can actually make sure I'm doing on the camera. Yeah, if you have like a spectrum here, it's like, okay, here's anime, here is completely authentic real life. Like this. Yeah. It's like, drama is like here. Yeah. And then like maybe like YouTube people are like here. It's like, maybe there's like a tiny little bit of thing they're like kind of speaking with, maybe like, you know, putting on a little bit to try to be more interesting, but it's like virtually, that's the thing is like, if you don't speak, like you said, it's like how people will think that slice of life anime sounds natural. Yeah. That's just saying like, well, then you clearly don't know how Japanese sounds. It's like, when you do know how Japanese sounds, then you can listen to YouTubers and know, that's like how Japanese sounds. Yeah. You know? So it's kind of an argument it's not really based in reality. It's like a hypothetical thing if you've never like heard it. It's
genuinely not. And this is also another thing. Why would you not want to speak like someone who's good at speaking and presenting themselves? Because that's what it sounds like when a real person is good at speaking. Yeah. Like
the way that anime and dramas are is not. It's not perfected in the way that like this is what it sounds like when someone's actually good at speaking. It's just like no one sounds like that. Period. No. You know.
But then you watch like, it's not like a variety TV show. Variety TV show, they're trained people. Yeah. It's a little bit different because even though that's still unscripted, there's like these guys know how to perform for TV. Yeah. YouTube, look at me and you. Who the fuck are we? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I haven't gone to like comedian school for 10 years or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, I haven't gone through, having to go on all these TV shows, but it's not scripted. But like, they give
you're right. They go through a lot of training. All those games. That's a good one. At first, I was actually gonna say like, I feel like even if you're just watching variety shows, that's pretty close to being natural. But now that you're pointing out, I can say like, of course, it's way more natural than a drama.
Of course,
it's way closer to the YouTube side. But yeah, it's not all the way there. They are like if you were talking like a gaining on a TV show in a normal conversation, it would be like, chill out, bro. Like
could you imagine like
tone it down a little bit.
Could you imagine just two people talk to each other?
Yeah, and it's gotta be like there's like no one filming this, right? Like chill out.
You'd be like, where's the camera?
Yeah. It'd be like you know, it would be a little bit much.
No, it would be, but then at least with like, especially say for instance, right? Let's say I go out with a group of Japanese friends. If I could speak like Hikaru or a good presenter. I would be like the life of the party.
It's kind of the sweet spot, right? It's like the sweet spot of like you're better than the average person.
Yeah.
But you still sound natural.
Exactly.
Like you're not. It doesn't sound like you're going like a little bit too far in the like putting it on.
Well, the delivery of it, even like if you're a trained comedian, you execute those lines perfectly, and they have like catchphrases and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but if you like watch YouTubers, these are just regular people trying to be funny.
Yeah, it's almost interesting because, like I said, it's like traditionally Japan never had a history of people just being natural in entertainment.
Yeah.
Like and yeah, you see that in TV. You can see it going back to like kabuki theater.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like in a way YouTube is the first time Japan has really had a form of entertainment where people are just being themselves and kind of being normal, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And this is like a funny one here. Where is it? What is the reality TV shows like Terrace House or dating shows? See, this is another thing though. For me personally, that is exactly like a day-to-day conversation.
Yeah, I was gonna say Terrace House is like the closest you can get to something that is produced, but is giving you a very accurate sample of what real life Japanese.
Yeah, and I think that's cool to listen to it and know it. But to me, it actually comes back to although YouTubers speak different slightly to the normal person, I'd almost rather speak like that and be a good speaker.
Yeah.
And not have like komisho or something like that and just be like kind of awkward and like just whisper things. I'd rather be, because think of it this way. I think Hikaru, people like that, because they just film him going about his day.
Yeah.
That's just how that bloke is in person.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, I've been around fighters and stuff as well. You meet some people who are like, for instance, like Asakura Mikuru, like you know him?
Yeah.
Like I trained with him once. The guy's exactly the same. There's no difference. But like he's just a good speaker. You know, there's just people who are good speakers. Like even like me talking right now, you could say, "Oh, well, I'm putting on something." But even still, like if we're out having dinner and we're talking with a bunch of people, or like for instance, when I teach like a boxing class or something, this is how I talk to people.
Yeah, and of course there's a range of like how you speak. You don't speak the same all the time with everybody. It depends on the topic and who you're talking to and stuff like that. But
didn't Oojiman use text cards and Manjisha for 9 months? Twice before going twice. What do you mean twice, bro? It was once, and that is AJAP. That's kind of the whole point, to listen to it and mine text cards. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think what they're saying is kind of like, if we're suggesting people do like an all listening approach. Well, you had text cards in the beginning.
I still do.
But
I only use text cards ever.
I think you should use listening cards, but I guess
I think you should if you can be bothered.
Yeah.
But I can't be bothered, and I listen so much anyway.
Yeah, I guess you're saying is like I don't think you're arguing against the fact that maybe there are downsides to it, but basically your argument is like it's so overpowered by how much listening you're doing that it gets kind of like
exactly. Well, I just see it as like you spend 8 hours a day listening. The text cards, like sick. You're not doing listening cards. Do you know how fast I can add text cards and how fast I can rep text cards as well, skim reading them and stuff like that as well? It's so quick. And if you're doing 50 cards a day, 30 cards a day, and then listening all day. To me, the benefits of the speed, because I can't be fucked adding cards and stuff, is better for me. But this is a preference thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should do listening cards because, I mean, if this was, when I was learning Japanese, there was no real method to, like, make listening cards. But the way that, like, I do it with Chinese, which I, like, teach in my dojo, is, like, basically, well, I have AI, like I have like a setup, and I teach all of this. If you want to know how to do it in the Immersion dojo, basically I have a whole setup where I will just put a YouTube video, I'll give it to the AI. The AI will spit out an Anki deck. I import it into Anki, and then I have an add-on that finds the cards that are I+1, and another add-on that adds the definition for the unknown word. So basically, like it's completely automated for me to just have audio cards from the actual content that I've seen. And so it takes like almost no extra time. Maybe you could argue that when you're reviewing, the review process takes longer because you have to listen to the sentence. But I still think, I mean, then it's just more listening practice. And I think it can be pretty helpful to have those, like, all that extra listening practice you kind of, like, grind into your brain. So I would argue that it's more optimal to do the listening if you take the time to get the optimal setup. But I also, like, agree that ultimately it's a matter of like percentages, right? So it's like if you're doing 8 hours of listening a day and then you do like 30 minutes of text Anki, then like although hypothetically those are maybe you're reading it in your head wrong, like it's gonna get mostly wiped out by the math because you're not doing any other reading outside of that, right?
No,
for the most part.
But this is the thing as well, is that then people say to me, one of the big arguments against like what's it called, the listening only approach is then how are you gonna read? I can read better than most Japanese people because I know so much kanji, because everything I do is text-based in the Anki. I know all the kanji, I know everything, and learn it with it. So by the time I get to like 5,000 cards, I can also read all of that. And there's no process of learning.
Well, I mean, I think that like even if you do listening cards, I think it probably makes most sense to. I mean, if you want to be like as safe as possible and guarantee that you have like the best accent possible, then probably just have your cards be like all audio. But I think for most people, what I recommend is have audio on the front and have the text on the back. Yeah. And you kind of learn how to read it just from having it on the back anyway.
It's too much time for me, to be honest. I think like I just want, because I do the same thing with the AI stuff, just drop words. I don't do it from a video. I do the mining slightly different. Just like taking words from videos myself, but then just chuck it into like Claude using a prompt package as a deck, download it. But for me, it's like, I don't care if it's I+1. To me, it doesn't matter. I just think if I don't know 2 words, don't know 3 words, so be it. I'll just push through it. And then, so again, this comes back to the listening is definitely optimal. And if you can be bothered doing that and taking the time to listen to every sentence, but I just like speed running Anki.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, the reality is that the specifics of how you do Anki, like people have always been arguing like what's better, sentence cards or text cards, or sorry, sentence cards or word cards, audio versus text. Like if you're grinding Anki and then you're getting tons of immersion, like you're gonna get really good.
This is the thing, is that I actually think it's a preference at this point. If you want to say, I'm just gonna care that much about the accent that I'll do that, but at the same time, look, maybe I'm biased because I ended up with a really good accent and did only text cards. So like, to me, I'm like, what's the fucking difference?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
You know, to me, I'm like, well, it didn't affect me. So I'm like, maybe it will affect some other people. And I can see, if I'm thinking from a purist thing of what is the most optimal to listen all the time. Yeah, you probably could get a lot of benefit from that. But to me, I just can't be bothered.
But I remember like when I interviewed you, which I'm actually going to release the interview
eventually
in the near future. Yeah. Like it will get released.
I was like, fuck, maybe it just was too shit quality.
No. Like the thing you have to understand is I have like literally like 6 interviews filmed that I need to release.
But
you're at the top of the list. You're at the top of the list. Well, there's I'll talk about that later. Yeah. But anyway, like I think you remember that relatively early on, you just stopped using Anki and you just were doing all immersion. I remember it
after I hit about 8,000 cards.
Yeah, but that was still like since you were doing Anki so quickly, like time-wise, that was relatively early on.
Like that was like about the 9 month.
Yeah, so you did 9 months Anki, and then you did like 2 years of just immersion, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's an important nuance of like, you got a good accent, but for most of the time you were doing only listening with no Anki, period, right?
But I still would read like messages and stuff.
Yeah,
and Twitter and YouTube, and my phone is in Japanese as well. But I'm still reading a lot. But to me, it's like...
But I think that ultimately, like I said, it's like it matters of like the percentage of like how much listening to reading. For you, it was probably like more than 90%.
Yeah.
Like listening. Whereas I think a lot of people, the danger here, which as long as you don't fall into this trap, you're fine.
Yeah.
But the danger is people like a lot of people. I'm sure you've noticed this. Like really latch onto Anki rather than immersion because it's something that's tangible. It's like
it's true.
It's easy to see the gains, and so there's a lot of people that like basically end up like sabotering their immersion. Like they're putting off immersion, they're slacking on the immersion, and they're just doing Anki. And if you're doing, I feel like if you're making audio cards, then that's not so bad necessarily. I mean, it's not going to harm you in the long run. But if you're doing just text cards and you're slacking your immersion, and the only Japanese you do is like all text where you're just like making up the pronunciation in your head, that's going to be really bad, you know?
Yeah, I think it all just comes back to the thing is that if you don't do as much immersion, then the audio cards are going to be significantly better.
Yeah.
But then if you actually do what we both say, and listen a shit ton, you'll be right.
Yeah, I think that's right. Like for example,
me, at the end of the day, it feels like which one do you prefer? Because there are some people who are going to prefer the text and some people who way prefer the audio. Like, and then, you know, Anki doesn't help at all. Mate, honestly, how do you think you're going to learn 20,000 words in like...
Yeah, that's honestly, the fact that the ALG people can convince themselves that they're going to learn vocabulary just as quickly is kind of mind-boggling.
Like, do you think you're a 3-year-old child? Like, you're just going to somehow like, quitting Anki's code. Like... Yeah, he quit because he can speak Japanese, bro.
I quit.
What are you talking about?
I quit Anki too after I knew more words than most Japanese people.
Yeah, like what? I quit Anki too. It's like, okay, who cares?
No, like really, this is something that's really solidified in me over time because like, yeah, you don't need to do Anki forever, but like I did Anki for 5 years, just learning 10 cards a day. So probably did like significantly like rate-wise, it was slower. So it's not, maybe you did 9 months, I did 5 years, but in reality, it's more like I probably did like maybe less than twice as much as what you did.
Yeah, it was a lot of pain.
Yeah, I mean, like God, I was reading novels and making words, and like and so I haven't done Anki in like many years now for Japanese. I mean, I did spurts on and off just to learn pitch accent and stuff, but like I haven't made like vocab cards in like many years, and to this day, like with my girlfriend, a lot of times we're watching a Japanese movie and she literally like asks me what words mean that she doesn't know, and I almost always know what they mean. And she actually reads a lot of books. Like most Japanese, I mean, most people don't even read books. She actually reads novels for fun, and so she like read novels that have all these words, and then still she does most of it. She doesn't pick up. Yeah. Because like so it takes native. Like you're saying, you think you're a 3-year-old. The thing is, it takes native speakers an entire life to learn all these words. Yeah. It's like maybe after 20 years you could catch up to a 20-year-old. Yeah. Do you want it to take 20 years? They're literally doing it like all day every day. So the fact that like in 5 years I was literally able to catch up to like the vocabulary of like the average 25, 30-year-old in Japanese, like there's no amount of input you could do that would lead to that. You genuinely
couldn't. And it's like people like this, it's always people saying this who you will never actually hear them speak Japanese.
Yeah. I honestly, I've never met like, I mean, I guess there are people I know that have good vocabularies that like didn't use Anki, but I mean, it definitely took them longer, and it's still they're not like the people who like you're never gonna beat those people like in vocabulary. You're never gonna beat me without Anki. Like you're never gonna know as many like rare words and be able to use all those big words. Like for example, we were talking about like George. Yeah. And how you said he's one of the most impressive foreigners. Yeah. In terms of his vocabulary, his control of the language. Yeah. He went really hard on Anki back in the day.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. I just think the way he speaks, like the way he constructs sentences, is very impressive. But that's like. Yeah, obviously there's people have issues with pronunciation, whatever, but yeah, in terms of actually selecting words, exactly, and Anki is important. As well, this is the thing, like, what's this? You have that important. Look, mate, honestly, the thing is, right?
Oh, no, so now you're saying Anki doesn't help, and now you're backtracking, and you're saying, okay, Anki does help, but who needs the help?
It's like, this is the thing, I was, like, could understand all of, like, YouTube, everything like that easy in 9 months. Do that without Anki. I challenge you. Like, I did 10,000 words, pretty much, like 8 to 10,000 words without Anki, with Anki in 9 months. It's like, exactly, the point of Anki is to increase your comprehension in your immersion. It's like, mate, I got the 8,000 words, anything I listen to in YouTube, I'm all good then. And then I can just spam comprehensible input. How long would it take just doing comprehensible input?
Yeah, exactly. Like actually, Evil Dia, the YouTuber, has some good content on this now. He's been like, he's like skeptical of ALG, but actually is trying it for Spanish. He's like doing nothing but comprehensible input, like using Dreaming Spanish, and you can see his reports that the vocabulary acquisition compared to like when he learned Chinese and used flashcards is like way slower. Yeah.
Well, look at this. Where's this? Where the fuck did it go? There was a thing here that was like. Or maybe did he delete it? Oh, go down. Is this here? It doesn't help memorizing words. It helps acquiring them. Bruv, if you memorize the word and then you hear it a bunch of times, you'll be right. But if you don't memorize it, you're never going to hear that word enough times you go, wow, somehow I learned what Houjin means from listening to it so many times.
That's the thing is like these words, I have acquired them. Like I haven't done Anki in years. The words that I didn't acquire, I forgot. Yeah. And there are lots of words I used to know because I memorized them that now I forgot. But there are these words that actually I have acquired. When I hear them, I know intuitively what it means. They pop into my head. I use them naturally myself. Yeah. I have acquired them, but it's because you memorized it that every single time it came up in your immersion, your brain actually processed it. Like when you think about it, like I said, my girlfriend reads books in Japanese, so she's coming across all these words. Yeah. It's not that she hasn't come into contact with them. It's that if you don't have the card to plant that seed, then the uptake of your input is way lower.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you actually do acquire them, and it leads to you acquiring them way more quickly.
You kind of have to know the word already. Like I go read old books. If I read Shakespeare, I can pull out the meaning of the text. But all these words I will never acquire in my own speech or anything because I don't know the meaning of them.
Unless you spend a shit ton of time reading.
Exactly. So I just skip over them and form it from the other things. How many words do I know approximately? Mate, how the fuck would I know? I have to be honest. I got no idea.
I mean, I would guess because I've like just looked into studies of like the average native speaker, how many words they know at different ages.
Yeah.
I would say I would guess like 50K words in Japanese. Yeah. Probably. But yeah, I mean, honestly, no one really knows. But
yeah, see, mine's a weird thing because see, with this Origami, like, mate, just shut up. But like, you know, once I got to a high level of understanding most things, and then from there it was easy to do the growing from comprehensible input because I already understood basic Japanese. I could understand everyday conversations with what's it called, YouTube and stuff. So when I would talk to Japanese people and they would use words I didn't know, I'd be like, what's that mean? And they tell me, and I'm like, oh, I know that now because I understand it because I'm already in this base of fluency. I've got a basic level of fluency, so then it can grow from there organically. That's the thing. I did the 8,000 words and stopped for years. I still learned more words and words and words, but that's because I was making an effort to, you know, still like that. But then if you didn't have that and you're going from day one, how long would it take you to go from nothing to basic fluency?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's two different usages of Anki. There's what you just said of going from 0 to basic fluency.
Yeah.
And then there's an argument that's, in my perspective, really obvious that it's going to make it way faster. Yeah. And then there's the argument of like, okay, if you're trying to go from like basic fluency to truly catching up with the native speaker, then Anki is playing a different role.
It is.
And it's but I still think it's just as helpful. It's just,
I agree completely.
It's kind of like you said, it's not as, it depends on your goals, right? Because like in a sense, if you're like, okay, I'm already basically fluent in the language, maybe people use words that I don't know every once in a while, but I'll just ask them what it means and then I'll learn.
Yeah.
And so it's not really a problem. It's not necessarily like, oh, I need to rush to solve this problem of knowing every word as quickly as possible.
See, this is what I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I get people like this too all the time too.
Yeah. What the fuck is active monitoring?
I think he's saying for me that like for my pitch accent and stuff, I will like make sure I'm speaking at the right pitch accent. But
I don't. I just
I think what he's saying, like, I think someone was like, well, Matt got a good accent, he learned through reading, so why not just learn through reading?
Oh, fair.
Yeah, he's like spammed this. I might as well answer this. He's like spamming this question here of like, so Matt got a good accent. Why not do 1-to-1 listening to reading with an all listening approach? Well, so first of all, so I do have a good accent, even if I was not filtering myself at all and not monitoring myself at all. I do have objectively a good accent, meaning like I'm in the 99th percentile of like people that speak Japanese. And so if that's like what you're going for, then it is fine to do reading if you don't care. But the thing is, like, Oojiman has a better accent than me. And so for me, I'm like, I speak Japanese every day. I meet Japanese people like every day. And like, how many times, like, I have to go through this process of like their first impression of you is based off how you sound when you speak Japanese.
It is, yeah.
If I could have learned the language differently, even if it was harder or took a little bit longer, and I could have sounded better for the rest of my life in Japanese, I definitely would have done that, knowing I'm going to live in Japan for probably the rest of my life and speak Japanese like every day.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that I don't actually think it takes 2 to 3 times longer. I think that's like a fallacy. Like, I think if you're doing it efficiently, then at least reaching spoken fluency, it's probably not really going to change. If you're doing Anki, it's not going to make you take it any longer.
No. I honestly think that, like, what's it called? The listening only approach, even, like, well, look at me. I was like a base level of fluency within like a year. That's not very long. Like, that's not 2 to 3 times longer.
Yeah. Think about it. That's insanely fast.
Like, I was gonna say, could you imagine doing that? Could you imagine doing that 3 times quicker? Like what? 2 months? Like
because I mean, I think the key is we're still saying with Anki, right? We're not saying you're if you want to take a true ALG approach, meaning like just comprehensible input, no Anki, just listening, that's gonna take you very long.
Well, like 15 years, bro. Like, come on, like realistically.
Yeah, I mean, probably at least 2 to 3 times longer. If you're doing like a non-stop immersion, you like somehow if you like the problem is there's not like the thing with ALG is that it was an in-person school with in-person teachers that were interacting with you in real time. It's not the same thing as watching videos alone in a room. It's not. You're gonna learn way more slowly.
Like, how are you gonna do this just by like? It's just so like such a pointless argument, to be honest. But like, because it's just like no one actually believes this shit except for people who are living. It's like some mystical power.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the funny thing is like, where are the people? Like, the thing that ultimately I think you have to, when you're thinking about the epistemology, meaning how do we actually know what's true? We have to ultimately evidence matters more than theory. Because there's lots of theoretical ideas that make sense in theory, and then later we found out they're wrong, right? Like, people used to think that the Earth was the center of the universe, right?
Exactly.
In theory, it makes sense. Then later you find out it's wrong. Yeah. So ALG is completely the fact that ALG is what's going to guarantee that you reach the highest possible level is completely theoretical. Where is the guy that did ALG and sounds like a native speaker? Where is he?
I want to see him.
I haven't found him. The only people that actually did ALG, there's people that got good, but they're not the best, and they still sound foreign. And there's a lot of other methods that get the same result as that.
Exactly. So, look at this. I don't think there's anything else to say, mate. Mate, you get on here then. Let's see how you sound. If you're that die-hard of a believer, then come on here and we'll all speak Japanese together.
And it's funny to see saying Stephen Krashen and J. Marvin proved it years ago. They didn't prove anything. In the field of linguistics, Stephen Krashen is barely taken seriously anymore. Like basically, there are certain core aspects of his ideas that have like moved forward, but basically Stephen Krashen's formulation of the ideas have basically been debunked like decades ago. And J. Marvin Brown, he just wrote a book claiming shit. There's no real evidence, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you assume that everything that J. Marvin Brown said was true, then he proved it. But you know, to be honest, I don't think that J. Marvin Brown was lying. I think that it's like he's just one guy sharing his experience. It's not science. It's not objective proof.
So crazy. It's not a fair example anyway. Well, then if you can't, you're talking to two people here who could speak, and now you're trying to claim all this crazy shit. How about you come do it then, bro?
See, the problem with ALG, it's completely unfalsifiable. If there's anyone who, like, even the people that in reality are the best example cases of people doing ALG, they'll say, oh, well, no, it doesn't count because he thought about it one time. Like, one time when he was learning the language, he thought about grammar, so now he's fucked forever.
Yeah.
You know, like, like, they keep... Anytime there's something that's going to disprove ALG theory, then they'll say, oh, it's not true ALG. It's like, okay, so no one in the world has ever done true ALG, so then it's just this fucking mystical thing that doesn't exist.
It's so funny. It's crazy, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the thing is, like, you need to have a balanced perspective with all of this because, like, I think that there's nuggets of truth in ALG that are really valuable that I haven't seen anywhere else, which is basically the idea that studying in the wrong way is not only not productive, but it can be actually actively harmful.
Yeah,
you know?
No, that's true. Yeah,
and so I think that there's a lot of truth in that. I think that the ALG is too black and white about it. It's like, okay, you have to learn exactly like an infant, and any deviation from that, you're broken. Yeah, right. It's way more gray than that, right? There's there's aspects of it that are true, but there's also aspects that are not true, and so you have to do the that's what I'm trying to do. The kind of dirty work of sorting out, okay, what is the ways of studying that actually do negatively affect the way that you're studying. What are the things that don't matter? Yeah. And he's saying, lots of people did true ALG in AOA. Well, where are they? Where are the people that actually got native level fluent? Because they're literally like hypothetically, they're mythical people. No one's seen them. Yeah. So just the fact that they hypothetically exist doesn't really mean anything. Like, show me someone on YouTube that did ALG and is the best foreign Thai speaker you've ever heard.
It just doesn't even exist. I mean, honestly, this is the thing. What was this I was looking at?
So do you fail cards when you get the... So when I learned pitch accent after I finished like acquiring Japanese. So like I used to make Anki cards for vocabulary for I made sentence cards, right? I didn't have pitch on those cards at all because I didn't know pitch was the thing. When I started learning pitch, I went back and made cards just to memorize the pitch accent of words. And so the whole point of those cards was just to memorize the pitch. So obviously I failed them if I didn't remember the pitch. Yeah. But in my case, I wouldn't recommend for most people that they do what I did with pitch.
What is this? This Oojiman guy has nothing to show his supposed skill. Mate, I've got so many videos of me speaking Japanese. I don't understand why people can't, like...
Yeah, I mean, that's just cope. Like, if you want to make an argument against him, don't make it based off his ability, because that's the one thing you can't deny.
Like, it's everywhere. Like, I have so many videos of it. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, that's like if you want to try to attack him, you gotta either find an inconsistency in his story or find some special advantage or something. You don't attack his ability. That's
the one thing that I have. That's the one thing that you can't say. It's like so funny.
ALG has a ceiling measurement, which is great. I mean, it's all theoretical. It's all stuff that was written in texts from decades ago with no proof. Yeah. So.
What's this? The same guy as before, Oojiman, who was hating on you and glazing that. Yeah, I don't know, but it's pretty funny, to be honest. Then you asked me something if I'd live in Japan. Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. Probably stints here and there, but never like full time. I got too much stuff going on at home in Australia. But I'll come here to fight probably in the future. Do some MMA fights.
Someone's saying, what is ALG? I probably should explain. ALG stands for Automatic Language Growth, and it's basically a language learning method that was implemented in Thailand in like mainly in the 90s, where they would teach foreigners the Thai language 100% through comprehensible input. Yeah. And the guy that started this approach, named J. Marvin Brown, had a really hardcore philosophy saying like basically you have to learn exactly the way that infants do, and if you do that, then that's the key to reaching native level. And that basically studying the wrong way is what makes people get fossilized. And like I said, there is a lot of it's worth learning about this, because first of all, it does prove that it's at least possible to become fluent in a language 100% through comprehensible input as an adult, because there are people that got fluent in the method. But the idea, and I think that there are, like I said, you need nuance here. It's not that it's all right or all wrong, but the people that are like hardcore dogmatic believers, like, are just basically, in my opinion, they have their head in the sand for all the reasons I've been saying.
Yeah, well, there's gonna be people like that everywhere. Like in any methodology where they just
or religion or anything.
Yeah, they just,
it's basically a religion.
What's this? How would you practice output? I would go on a Hello Talk, say someone let's call, and then I would just try and construct sentences essentially, and then pretty much that's about it. It's not that difficult. Just try and make friends and talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, I just released a video yesterday where I explained like if you're like my recommended optimal way to go about it. But I get all these things. It's like there's like on the higher level perspective, it's like I said, it's like if you fucking make Anki cards to learn words and then you do immersion, you're gonna get good. Yeah. Same thing. It's like if you start talking to people, you're gonna get good at talking. But that's like the higher level truth. Then you want to get into the specifics of like, okay, well, let's say we want to do this completely optimally. Then I have my opinion on what's on like the nitty gritty version that I think is most optimal. I made a video about that yesterday. So they kind of coexist. They're not actually contradicting each other, you know?
It's a kind of like it's just the whole argument to me is kind of dumb, because like it's all like prove it wrong instead of like actually proving that it's a thing. Yeah. Like again, you need the sort of like. Yeah, I can't even. I think we're done with the ALG stuff at this point. Yeah, because this is gonna just go.
He's obviously.
It's just gonna go in a circle.
Nothing's gonna like convince him. Obviously,
I just think it's a funny argument, to be honest, but it gets to a point where it's like
it's a good case study. And well, I mean, like I would imagine, to be fair, that like most people on the ALG subreddit are probably pretty level-headed and probably are in their. They're not just with no nuance, completely blindly believing everything that's on there. Of course, some people are like that. Yeah. And this guy's kind of like that. So almost like I feel like in a way he's almost doing ALG a disservice by representing ALG and being kind of in a character, like a cartoonish form of it.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, like if people see that for their first thing, they'll be like, "No, come on."
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to give it a chance.
Yeah. Someone asked something interesting.
Maybe you used to recommend to read a lot and have that be better than your listening, and have your listening play catch up. Oh, I see. I used to recommend that you'd get really good at reading first, and then have your catch up with your listening ability. Yeah, completely changed my stance. Yeah, I think that you should learn listening first, and then later catch your reading up to your listening, and eventually hypothetically your reading will has a higher ceiling, basically, because there will always be times where you can't make out what someone said because they were mumbling or it was too loud or whatever, whereas like reading, if it's on the page, you can always read it. So eventually maybe your reading will surpass your listening. But yeah, I think you should learn first on through listening and then read after.
Yeah, that makes sense. What made me want to learn Japanese? I did judo as a kid, and then I watched Floyd Mayweather spark out Tenshin in Ryzen, and I thought it'd be cool to fight in Ryzen, and that kind of G'd me up a bit. And then I was like, always sort of wanted to learn it. Then there was like nothing. I just eventually sort of went, you know what, I'm going to try and take this seriously now. And then, because I waited all the time as a kid to learn Japanese through, there was like high school lessons. I always knew in my town in high school there was lessons. So I went to do that when I got to high school. And then the teacher was not Japanese and didn't really teach us Japanese, just chucked on movies every day with English subtitles. And then I was like, okay, this isn't going to teach me anything. Like, genuinely, that's all it was. All I knew was just how to count 1 to 10 in Japanese from judo. And then I went and looked online, found like, Japanese from zero videos for like a few days, I don't even know how long. It's hard to remember. But then found Matt stuff through their little thing they had. And then pretty much I just have such a mentality of just wanting to like max out anything and just if I do something, I kind of want to go like crazy with it. It's just me. So then the method that Matt was saying kind of like resonated with me a lot because it was such an extreme thing. And I'm like, this sounds extremely difficult, but if I pulled it off, it'd be insane. And so let's just have a crack. And then it became that was my reason for starting. The reason for me to take it so extreme was just out of being competitive, to be completely honest. And then the more you learn it, especially if you're learning through listening, you start making friends in the language, you start liking content in that language. And then eventually gets to the point where it's like, you only learn the language because it's such a big part of your life that it's like almost a hindrance to not know it anymore. Because I want to talk to my friends and talk to them better. I want to watch all these videos that I like and interact with the language, but my Japanese isn't good enough yet. So then the mix of the frustration plus the pursuit of something so difficult is what made me take it to such a large extreme. And as well because I would see people doing the method, learning Japanese and getting really good, and I would be like competitively minded, being like, no, I got to be better. Like I'm going to be better than anyone. But then that was after a while, and then I just kind of got like, I was just like, you know what? This is getting a little crazy. And then I went and started getting more into MMA, which is a better outlet for competitiveness.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, like, I mean, I think it can be healthy to have a little bit of competition in any way, but like, ultimately,
for a bit. You don't want to take it too far. Like mine wasn't like an unhealthy thing because I don't actually like care. You know what I mean? Like even if people are that much better, it's whatever. It's more an internal thing. Like I don't dislike these people. I just want to like be better myself.
Yeah. I mean, I think a little bit of competition can always be healthy, but ultimately, language is about connecting with other people.
It is,
right? And so it's a very personal thing. It doesn't really matter. Like really, like that's the thing is like in the language learning community, especially Japanese learning community. And I'm totally guilty of this. Like you fall into the trap of comparing yourself with other foreigners,
which is stupid.
You know, because it really Japanese is not about you and other foreigners. It's about you and Japanese people.
Exactly. It's easy to get distracted from that.
Yeah. Because like when you move to Japan, you live your life. Like you're like the thing is you're gonna be using Japanese only with Japanese people. You might have foreign friends. You guys probably are not gonna be speaking Japanese. You're just gonna be speaking English. So really, all that really matters is your relationship with the Japanese people.
What's this? Do you guys think it's possible to build a base vocab by learning contextless words? Yes, because I think that's actually what I probably did. I can't remember that.
Yeah, the thing is, you're not going to acquire these words fully.
No.
But yeah, you can get a foothold in them. I think it's dangerous because if the only really what's going to happen when you do this is you're going to end up just associating Japanese words with English words, and those associations can be very persistent and are like inaccurate. So like I literally. Like, for example, when I learned Japanese, when I first started learning, I learned that the word kiru means to wear, like clothes, right? Yeah. And in English, we use the wear to say I'm going to wear a hat, I'm going to wear a shirt, I'm going to wear pants. And so because of that, subconsciously, even to this day, sometimes I will like make the mistake and say I'm going to like kiru a boshi.
I understand what you mean.
Or like I'm going to kiru and like I know it consciously, but subconsciously I made this association and I can't remove it. So that's why I wouldn't do that. So like for example, that's something that like when ALG talks about learning in the wrong way can cause damage, that's an example of, or I think that's true. So but I think there's other ways to use flashcards that don't cause damage, right? Like if you learn mostly through sentence cards and you have the explanation of what words mean rather than just a one-word, one-to-one translation, then you can, for the most part, bypass that.
Yeah. Sorry, just will listening to Bobby Olagon cook my pronunciation? Nah, try and make him your language parent. Just try and max out Bobby Olagon. That'll be the way to go. In Japanese.
I mean, in a certain way, he's very successful as a...
Bro, have you seen he's like talking about like fucking stocks now? He has a bunch of...
A little bit. I saw it. I think I was at a bookstore.
It's like people go to him like for investing.
I know. I think I saw that on like a bookstore. I was like, what? Like,
yeah, bro, really like took it to the next level. That's mad.
He's not the first though. Like Atsugiri Jason did the same thing.
Really?
You know, like like he used to be the like why Japanese people like kind of like dumb foreigner, and then he just did a 180, and now he's like, oh, I'm Japanese people don't understand investing enough. Let me teach you how to like.
Let me help these guys lock in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna go to the toilet. I'll be back. I shall be back.
Let me see. Gotta hold the fort all my own. Okay, I got someone's claiming that I say hypothetical instead of hypothetical. I doubt it. Maybe that's my just how it comes off with my pronunciation, but I got that, so don't need to tell me that again. Let me see. Yeah, passive listening 100% is helpful. Background immersion is more questionable. Background immersion is when you're just ignoring it. But I think passive immersion, where let's say you're like on the train and you're listening, or you're doing something physical and you're listening. Maybe your attention's going in and out, but there's a lot of moments where you're fully paying attention. And for those moments you're paying attention, it's basically as effective as active immersion. Shout out to Tantorisu / Tristan in the chat. Someone asked how old I am. I'm 31. What are my thoughts on people trying to get fluent in multiple languages at the same time? I mean, I won't say it's impossible, but it's really inefficient. I think it's much better to do it one at a time. Did I think that ALG was the holy grail at the time that I made the video on it? No, I didn't. I actually, at that time, already, like, inside of the Immersion Dojo, I talked about all my criticisms of it. But the thing is, most people didn't know what ALG was. So it doesn't, in my head, I didn't really think it would be possible to make a video introducing it and criticizing it at the same time. So in my head, what I was planning on doing is making this video, introducing it, and then like building it up. And then I was immediately going to make another video where I kind of tear it down, or at least the parts that I thought was wrong. But then I kind of like got too busy with other projects and never made the video. And now I think a lot of people think that I'm just like 100% ALG proponent, when in reality, like I said, I have a nuanced view. I think that there's a lot of insight there and they make a lot of unique points, but that it's not the end all be all. Even though if you watch just this stream, you probably think that I was just hate it and was shitting on it. Have I ever met Katsumoto in person? Not in person, but I've talked to him on a voice call a couple times. And actually, there was a time where we were going to start a podcast together.
Oh, really? And
yeah, but you know, he like went really hard on the marketing stuff. So he had this plan where we were going to film like, I don't know, like a 4-hour podcast once a month, and then cut it up into little 20-minute chunks. Yeah. People were going to subscribe for like $50 a month, and then we'd like email them every couple of days to get a new chunk of the podcast. And at the time, I wanted to work with Katsumoto. Yeah, it sounded like an awesome idea. But I was doing ALG, or I was doing a MIA at the time, and I was if I do this, people are gonna think I'm a sellout.
For sure,
which is kind of ironic because then I did something 2 years later that people definitely thought I was a sellout. But yeah. Anyway, the first episode of the podcast we filmed. Yeah. And it's actually on the Immersion Dojo if you want to listen to it. Like, really? There's like an hour and a half long conversation. It's actually a pitch accent debate between me and Katsumoto about should you say pitch accent. So honestly, I'm thinking about releasing it on YouTube. Like if people really want to hear it, I'd be down to potentially release it on YouTube. But for now, it's on Immersion Dojo.
Yeah, that's funny though. I don't know much about him honestly, because he's kind of like before me.
Yeah. I mean, and someone asked if he's in Japan. I think last time I heard he was in the Netherlands. I don't think he's lived in Japan for a while. He was living in Canada for a while. But yeah, I mean, to me, like, honestly, I don't think he's that special. Like, the guy, I don't think any of us are that special, honestly.
No,
obviously. But of course, he was like my biggest inspiration. So I always have that, admiration, I guess.
No, I can understand that, honestly, though. Like, that's why it was funny meeting you for the first time. It felt weird. I'll watch you for like that many years online.
But people, asking about my Chinese. Like, I've been actively studying Chinese for a little over a year now, and I talk about it on Immersion Dojo like all the time. I weekly I give like updates talking about what's going. Like, I'm taking the approach that I'm talking about. I'm doing all listening. It's like I'm pretty busy and I don't spend that much time on it.
That's the hard part, eh?
So exactly. That's why I think it's extra important that I have like listening cards. You know,
that it is when you don't have as much time for sure.
Yeah, but I'm focusing on Taiwanese Mandarin. And so I mostly like listen to podcasts and like YouTube videos. And like I said, I have like I make my Anki cards out of those same content using an Anki add-on that I made. And and then like listen when I can. And my comprehension's been getting a lot better. Yeah. And probably should start output like relatively soon if I was actually more focused on it.
No, I understand what you mean though. The output's rough though.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's just the type of thing of like momentum plays a big role.
It does.
And so that's like the hard part of when you're only doing a little bit of a day, because it's like kind of you're trying to get your brain to switch over to a new mode, you know?
Yeah, you do. It's that, and as well, like the first initial stages are so painful. Like I just remember how rough. Like it's exciting and fun, but it's also very frustrating to like start speaking a new language. Like, like for instance, I got Spanish to like a pretty like comprehensible level, but I've never tried to speak it at all, just because I like. Just never met. I'm like, you know what? I just can't really be bothered.
Well, I almost wonder. I mean, I'm not confident on this, but I almost wonder in a paradoxical way of like, if you let's say you get to the point where you understand like 90% of Spanish. Yeah. compare that to somebody who got to the point where they understand 90% of Japanese. I almost wonder if the person who learned Japanese would have an easier time with output, because when you get that with Spanish, you're mostly just reusing your English knowledge.
Yeah, pretty much.
Know?
Yeah.
You haven't necessarily acquired quite as much. Whereas for Japanese, you had to do the whole thing from scratch.
And you have to listen a lot more to get to 90% of comprehension.
Exactly. So you might actually have more Japanese inside of you.
I think so, honestly.
In a way, but it's hard to say.
Also, I think Japanese is very easy to speak bad.
That's interesting.
Because you can just kind of say words.
Yeah.
And they make sense.
I guess so.
Because it's so context-based.
Yeah. You don't think you can speak Spanish bad?
Maybe, but I think it's not as like... I feel like I see a lot of people who learn Japanese and speak bad forever, but they're like... They can get by with just speaking bad.
Yeah, I guess I could see... honestly, I think pronunciation... When you're talking about speaking a language badly and communicating with natives, pronunciation is really important, right?
It is.
So, like, with Japanese, you can butcher the pronunciation.
That's what I mean. Like, you can just say things terrible.
Yeah. And they'll understand you.
They'll still get by.
Whereas, like, apparently in Chinese, that doesn't... Like,
exactly.
If you butcher the pronunciation, they actually really have a hard time understanding.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so that's the thing, isn't it? I think Japanese, you see a lot of bad speakers because of that, because they can get by with not pronouncing things like correctly. Honestly, there's a lot of questions about Anki. It doesn't fucking matter, to be honest.
Like I said, yeah, like it's mostly minutia.
Yeah.
It's not really gonna probably make or break things, but of course, I like to be nerd. I'm a nerd. I like to nerd out about language learning stuff. I'm fine to talk about what I think is optimal, like But it's good to also be aware that it's not what's making or breaking.
Yeah, look, it's important to think about it and have some conscious thing, but then some people think so much about it that they hesitate to actually do anything about it. If you just don't even think about it and you just spam, can I put Matt in the headline? But like,
I'm sure you could.
That's funny, yeah. But if you just think about it all day, I'm like, oh, am I doing this right, right? Whatever. But if you say you join my school, you join Matt's school where there's a method already, don't even question it. Just do it, and then all the time that you would have wasted thinking, you will just do it, and it'll be there. It doesn't really matter that much. Like, there's better things, but honestly, that's more for us to figure out to a degree. Yeah. You could try and figure it out as well, but it's just going to take so much time. You're honestly better off just believing anything that someone says and just giving it a go and just smashing it and seeing what happens. Like, for me, when I copied, like when I did all the stuff that Matt was saying about how to learn cards, I just didn't really question it. I was just like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. Let's just have a fucking go. And then I spam learned words and sentences, whatever, doing a very suboptimal way. Like, looking back, it was like the way at the time smashed the monolingual transition almost immediately and just like did all these things that were suboptimal, but it worked because I just did it with so much intensity that you get through it anyway. Like, you did things learning Japanese suboptimal. Yeah. I did things suboptimal. You kind of figure it out afterwards. A lot of it. Well,
I mean, I think that there's things that matter more than other things, right?
Exactly.
Like I said, like, I think how the specifics of how you do Anki, like, if you're taking like the right approach, what you're doing in Anki is going to be like less than 10% of your exposure to the language.
Exactly.
And so it doesn't matter what you do in that 10%, as long as you're getting the words into your brain.
Exactly. That's what I think.
Ultimately. But for example, if you are like doing all reading and not listening, then like, we'll fuck up your accent. So like, there are certain things, the method does matter.
The method matters. I mean, the method of Anki specifically.
Yeah. The method of Anki doesn't matter.
Like, it will make a difference. It will make a difference. But the in the grand scheme of things, as long as you have the things pinned, like immersion in listening, doing things like that, natural speech, unscripted immersion in listening, and you just smash that as much as possible. Whether you do Anki slightly suboptimal, very suboptimal, or the most optimal thing out of anything, it makes a difference, but not as much difference as some people seem to think it does. Like, me and Matt can sit here and debate what would be a better method to do sentences or whatever, but like, whether you do my method or Matt's method, even if one was better than the other, it will make a difference especially if you don't do the immersion. But if you do the immersion, your natural predisposition to acquiring languages is probably going to make more difference than the actual method of using Anki.
Well, actually, another thing that I've noticed makes one of the biggest difference is like a motivation related to your identity. Yeah. And so like, if you actually like spend time with Japanese people and you actually like find Japanese people you really like and you relate to them and you're like, these are my people. I want to sound like, on a subconscious level, you're like, I want to sound like them and fit in. Yeah. And you throw away your ego of like, I'm an American or I'm Australian or whatever, which actually most people fail to do. Yeah. Then that is what's going to make a bigger difference than most things in your method. Yeah. Not everything. Like I said, it's a equation where all the factors do play a role. But like, I think one of the, like, for example, with sorry to go back to ALG, but like the number one best example we have of someone who actually did ALG is the current guy his name's David Long, the current guy who is the like leader of ALG. Like if you read the original book about ALG by J. Marvin Brown, he writes in the book that David Long was basically his best student. He was like a perfect star version of ALG, where he did the method as close to perfectly as possible. And you can find videos of this guy online speaking Thai, and he has an American accent, like I said. But when you interview him, he was like, well, I've never tried to sound Thai. Why would I try to sound Thai? I'm an American. That'd be weird. You know, I almost don't want them to treat me like I'm Thai. So clearly, I think that's the reason why he doesn't sound fully Thai, is because his identity is still that he's an American who is speaking Thai, you know? And if he actually felt Thai, then he probably would sound at least much closer to sounding Thai.
That is definitely a big thing as well. You have to like genuinely like take the effort and care to sound like Japanese.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have the goal of sounding like a Japanese person, like why would you ever sound like one?
Yeah, like if you feel a little bit embarrassed trying to like mimic the mannerisms or like whatever, then that's gonna be a huge barrier. So that actually matters like more than the method, because like you know, the vast majority of language acquisition is subconscious. Yeah. Right. You're absorbing your subconscious doing the work, and this identity part is basically what controls how motivated your unconscious mind is to absorb the language. So that's the thing, that all the people that sound fully native, they have that in common. They spend a ton of time with native people, and they are native speakers, and they like had that identity motivation, right? And it sounds like you had that too. You were hanging out with your Japanese friends all the time. It was like your people.
Well, like I actually didn't hang out with them because I was in like Wodonga.
Well, I mean, like talking virtually. Like you said, you used to game with them all during
I
COVID,
used to,
all day. Right?
But I would like game with people, talk to them. Like I would constantly, and these were like my good friends, honestly. Like I would talk to these people like because I was trying to speak all the time as well, and I just enjoyed talking to people. I would talk to people on the phone some days, genuinely for like 5-6 hours, just staying up really late, or even while I'm adding cards, or whatever, just talking to people on the phone. Even while I was studying for my like final exams in high school, talking to people constantly, it was just a real constant thing. But for me, I never had that strong feeling of like, well, I'm foreign, so why would I try and sound Japanese? It was the opposite thing. I was like, well, I want to like be like one of these guys. I want to fit in exactly with one of them. I don't want to like.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the opposite. If anything, I get hesitant sometimes in my speech because I'm worried I will sound foreign, not the other way around. Like I'm like, I want to speak, not just like my Japanese sounds like natural like a Japanese person, but the mannerisms, the way I say things, how I approach people, things like that, like the little details I always pay a big attention to. And even I think then when I'm listening to say Representative Hikaru and watching all these guys talking in a group, I'm trying to think of how I would fit in with this group. How would I take these things on to joke around with them?
When I interview, one of the things that really stuck out to me that I think is really crucial to your success was, you said whenever you would like be listening to Japanese game with you'd be saying in your head like, would I have said it this way?
Yeah, always. I still do it.
Yeah, you'd be comparing, and I think that single habit actually makes a huge difference, because basically it means that's like you're outputting all the time in a way, right? Like that's the important part about why you want to start output sooner rather than later. Yeah, is because before you've done any output, you don't have any default way you would say something. Yeah, right. You don't know how you've never spoken language. Once you start output, even if your output sucks, you have at least, if like if someone pointed a gun to your head and said, express this idea in Japanese, there's some way that you would have to say it. Once you have that, even if it's wrong, now you at least have a point of comparison. Exactly. Where now you can do this thing in your head of every time you're listening to native Japanese, you can say, is this the way I would say it? Oh no, I wouldn't have said it that way. Yeah. And then you slowly update your model more and more like that. So you need to have at least some point of comparison so that you can increase that uptake of the input in that way.
You need to, for sure. Well, that's one of the things I always advocate to, like, honestly, I always think, because I think there's two parts of output. There's one which is just how easy you can spit it out. And then there's the other part of it is how is that output going to sound to the person that you're speaking to? Like, is it going to sound natural or not? And, you know, that part is dictated by your your mental model of what the language should sound like. Whereas your output, the speed of which and the comfortability of speaking is going to be purely dictated by, obviously a little bit by that. Yeah. At the early stages especially. But then mainly just based on how much you speak the language. Yeah. Like how often you're speaking it. I noticed that like when I was in Australia for ages, I had no Japanese friends and I was just interacting in English every day, barely touching Japanese. When I went to speak Japanese, the words I would say would sound natural. But internally it was a pain in the ass to try and get it out. Yeah. Whereas like then you come to Japan, like I've been in Japan for like 2 weeks right now, and now it's easy. It comes out. Boom. Yeah. And then it feels natural. But to other people listening to me, I probably don't sound any more or less natural. But to me, it's a big difference.
Maybe to a degree.
A little bit, of course.
But the better you are, the better you can hide it.
Yeah, definitely. You know? But like, my one, in terms of like being able to spit it out quickly and have flowing sentences, that part would sound less native. but just in the word for word thing or the words that I use, it's going to be same thing. So I always advocate people to just non-stop speak in your head to yourself so that you're constantly, anything you go throughout your day, obviously if you're just going about your day normally, you don't verbalize everything you're doing in your head, but verbalize it in Japanese so that when you go and listen to it, you have an idea of just already how you say things.
Yes, yeah. So I think that's the key, is that you need those both as a set.
Yeah, you do.
If all you're doing is just speaking to yourself, and you don't have that mental habit of comparing your own way of speaking to native speakers, then you're just gonna...
Then you're fucked.
Yeah, because actually the interesting thing that I think this point isn't really made enough is that basically your accuracy and your fluency are two largely independent things.
Completely.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is like, if you've had the right input and you've spoken in the past, you can have good accuracy.
Yeah.
But your fluency will take a hit.
Yeah.
But there's other people, like, for example, like, I have other foreign friends in Japan, like other YouTuber friends who, I'm like thinking if I should name names or not, but basically, like, who have been living in Japan for, let's say, over a decade.
Yeah.
And they speak Japanese every day.
Yeah.
And they have an amazing command of the language.
Yeah.
Like, when you listen to it, they just have a level of fluency. It really feels like Japanese has become part of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know? And so they have a certain effortlessness, and it's like very easy to listen to them speak, but they still might have a foreign accent or be using verbs wrong, or be using particles wrong, and like things like this. So basically, you can be extremely fluent but have lower accuracy, right?
Yeah.
Or you can have high accuracy and be slow and kind of stuttering over your words. So two independent things. So like, in order to get the fluency, it's just reps and putting in the time. And to get the accuracy, it's input in combination with this feedback loop.
It is.
Like you said, of like you need to make sure you have the feedback loop of you're saying something and then you're doing lots of output, but then you're doing even more input. And whenever you're doing the input, you're kind of doing that internal comparison of like, is this how I would have said it? Is that how I would have said it?
Yeah.
And that's what makes sure is that your model gets closer and closer to.
Yeah. If you don't have that, it's going to be a real struggle, in my opinion. Like,
then you'll probably just fossilize with weird habits and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. But the whole point of having that feedback loop and constantly being like introspective about how you sound is very important. In anything though, like any skill you learn in life is going to be like that as well. You see it with MMA even, like people learn bad habits. There's a lot of similarities, honestly. You learn bad habits in movement, which again, a lot of that is subconscious, just things that have been drilled in over time. And there's a lot of thing about how do you break bad habits. The only thing is that you can do is question not just the big parts, but every little single detail of it. You know, really break it down and analyze it from the foundations up. So like when we're speaking, not just like, you know, the words I'm using, how am I saying it? What are the inflections there? Every little single detail. When do I say the words? What's the timing of it? They say in comedy, like the timing of the punchline is important. It's even more important just in general speech, just to being able to deliver your words at the right timing. Especially if you're trying to have a laugh with Japanese people. It's very important. So it's like,
Yeah, I think that's the key, is that basically if you're being as attentive to your input and your output as you're saying, you're not going to have an opportunity to develop a bad habit, because what a bad habit is when you do the same mistake over and over again so much that your brain automates it. Whereas you can make a mistake, but if you're improving so quickly that the next time you say it a little better than the last time, and every time you're getting a little better and a little better, then you never have an opportunity to actually create a bad habit. I think that's why children make lots of mistakes, but they don't end up building bad habits. They don't become habits because the nature of their mistakes are constantly evolving.
Exactly. As long as you're constantly going back and comparing yourself and slowly improving it, even if it's just a slight improvement every time, or just the fact that you're kind of unsure about it. Like, I don't think
that's enough to keep you from solidifying.
The only time in my opinion that it really solidifies is when you're 100% sure of it. And you sit there and you just keep on.
Or it's just unconscious.
Oh well, that's the thing. But
I think that's even more common.
By the time it becomes unconscious, you're completely sure of it. Like if I read a word, to me, I might read it and go, I don't know if that's how it sounds. But if I've read that word heaps and heaps and you just skim over it, that's the confidence. That's the unconscious part.
Well, I think that's even when speaking, a lot of times people just, if you're just fully living in the language and you're not really paying attention to how you speak, it's easy for things to just be unconscious, right? It's like when you fail to, this is a point a lot of people make, is like, oh, well, when you make a mistake, you'll notice that the native speaker will, and that's how you'll notice it. But that only really works for really gross level errors. It's like for any subtle types of errors, native speakers they're not gonna have any reaction to it. So you can't rely on just spontaneous native speaker feedback to catch your mistakes. You have to. I mean, it's good to actively go out of your way to seek feedback from native speakers, and you just have to be always kind of on your toes in your head. But the other thing I'll say is that people are like, well, if you're speaking to yourself, won't that reinforce bad pronunciation habits? And isn't that the whole point of avoiding reading? Well, what I will say is that, first of all, I don't recommend starting output literally from day one.
I think personally, but that's different.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think that you should still have a period where like you need to have some foundation in the language. Like you have to have the language in you to some degree before you can start pulling it back out. So that's why I think that you should. I'm getting distracted by this chat. That's why I think you should have at least 1,000 hours of input before you start speaking. And the other thing is, I think you should do pronunciation training from day one. And I recommend doing like chorusing and parroting and also doing like high variability phonetic training, like using kotsu and stuff to basically train your pronunciation and your ears from day one, and also get feedback when you can, so that by the time you actually do start speaking, you're not starting from scratch. You should already have like decent pronunciation. And then it comes to, like I said, always getting feedback and entering a feedback loop where you're constantly improving. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what, or let me hear. So I'm saying, God, I don't know how to pronounce it. I know who this is. I've never actually heard their name pronounced. God Saad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is a highly educated Ivy League professor, and he has very obvious foreign accent. And he himself asked Joe Rogan about his accent because he was insecure about it. Yeah, I mean, okay, well, first of all, I'm not sure which side of, the argument you're kind of on of like accent does matter or doesn't matter, but first of all, I'd say that comparing foreign accents in English to foreign accents in Japanese is not an apples to apples comparison, because English is an international language spoken by people all over the world. Like it's a lingua franca for the world at this point. And so people from we're used to hearing all sorts of foreign accents in English, and we're used to not holding that against the person, right? We're actually used to hearing people like Ivy League professors speak with an accent and knowing that they're actually just as intelligent, and they might have fundamentally just an equal command of English, even if they have a foreign accent. Japanese people are not like that. Most Japanese people have not spent any significant amount of time listening to competent foreigners speak Japanese with a foreign accent. And so basically they're going to judge you for your accent way more harshly.
Oh, extremely, yeah.
Yeah. So like if you have a thick foreign accent, the immediate thing they think is, oh, you don't know Japanese well. Yeah. And then you have to basically prove them wrong over the course of time talking to them. Whereas if you have a good accent, immediately they treat you like you're competent.
They definitely treat you very differently, for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's something you experience quite a bit. Like what we got here. Well, even the thing of would a Japanese person actually, depends on the person. Would a Japanese person actually dislike you if your accent wasn't good? Some people, yeah. Honestly,
I don't think dislike is the right word, but
I don't know.
I mean, well, maybe some, but I think
some people.
I think some people. But I think what's more common is that they just really what I've felt living here is I mean, I knew this intellectually, but I feel it even more living here, is how Japanese people really view foreigners by default as a different species.
Yeah, completely.
So they're kind of when they're interacting with you, they really are putting you in a box of almost that you're not the same type of human.
Yeah.
And so you have to break them out of that. Yeah. There's exceptions. There are Japanese people that have spent time abroad that know English and are more internationally minded. But there's a lot of Japanese people that they only know Japanese. They've only had deep interactions with other Japanese people, and then foreigners are really just this alien that maybe they'll interact with a little bit for fun, but they're not going to really seriously treat you as a friend and want to hang out with you again and want to have meaningful conversations with you. And so the language ability is the best possible tool you can have to break them out of that box.
It's the only tool.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Because they won't want to talk to you otherwise. It depends obviously on the person, but as well, I think they just there's also depending on the area in Japan, there's a lot of foreigner fatigue.
Right now it's really
people
bad.
Are just really sick of foreigners. So if you can speak to someone not just good accent, but in a way that a Japanese person speaks, approach them in the same way, know what words to say, how to communicate with them, it's almost separate from the language to a degree.
Yeah.
It's just you're fluent.
It's a big package.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And just understanding the culture, understanding how to interact with people. It goes beyond, you need to have spoken to Japanese people a lot to understand this sort of stuff and know a lot of unscripted stuff and interacted with that. But even just knowing how to ask questions, if I go to just not being too loud and foreign and more Japanese, how their demeanor even, it makes a big difference in how they're going to interact with you.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people have why would you want to be friends with someone who dislike you because of your accent? I mean,
that's the thing is they're not. Like I said, dislike is one thing, but there's other people that just like it's kind of a form of ignorance, I guess, in a way, right? Of like they could be a really cool person who is like actually if you guys realized if you guys understood each other, you would actually get along with them really well and have a good time. But they just don't, like, subconsciously, because they've only interacted with Japanese people their entire lives, they don't realize that you're actually the same as them and really cool. Yeah, exactly. So like just once you make them realize that, they'll have something click, and then you guys could be like really good friends. And I've had that experience many times. So like just because somebody hasn't happened to have had the life experience, because the thing you have to realize is humans are racist by default. Nah. Like if you look at all of history, people grew up in tribes where they assume that everyone else that's not part of their tribe is, you know, backwards and like not basically a human. So that's the default state of humans. You have to go through a lot of conditioning to overcome that. And when you grow up in the West, where there's a lot of immigration and we have all, you know, the, like this ideology and stuff, we have like kind of overcome racism. And Japanese people have a kind of implicit form of racism just because they've never had the circumstances to break out of that. So they're still in the default state. It's true. And so I wouldn't hold that against them just because they haven't to have those series of experiences yet. Yeah. You can, like I said, if you speak Japanese, you can make them have that moment where they're like, oh shit, he's just like me. And then they're really cool. Yeah.
It is what it's like, and there's almost more satisfaction from that. I like talking to Japanese people who they've never really like been exposed to any foreign thing. They give you, it's like an interesting thing, right? When I talk to some like Japanese people in MMA gyms who will like have never interacted with foreigners. They've been they've just been a businessman. They do a bit of jiu-jitsu. Like there's one dude I met recently. He's like real serious. He's like he's like a chef or something, I think. But like real serious guy, very like closed off to Japanese people. Like just a serious guy. And then like he was real good at jiu-jitsu and submitted me a bunch of times. And I just asked him for advice. And then he's opened right up now. And now he's like my best mate. He's always looking after me and like talking to me heaps. And it just changes the dynamic completely. And you can see like it's not that there are some people who dislike you. But then there's a lot of people who are more just unsure of how to even interact with you.
Yeah, and they're almost like a big black box.
They're just cautious. They're like, they don't know English. They're kind of scared to be around you and talk to you. I've noticed a lot when I go to like convenience stores or anywhere talking to people. I go up to ask a question at a desk somewhere, like an information desk, and they look like big eyes, like, oh no, you know. And then you speak one word, and they're like relieved, and they're almost more happy to talk to you because they're like, oh, this guy, he isn't obviously. Look at me. No one's. I've been asked actually if I'm Japanese or half Japanese. I'm like, come on, look at me. But it's like then people they open up in a different way. And honestly, sometimes I find because you're not Japanese, but you can speak Japanese to such a high degree, they'll actually open up more to you than they will to another Japanese person. Because sure. They're like, oh, well, this guy's just a random, he's not going to judge me. He's just a random foreign guy, but he speaks Japanese. And so they almost, some of them, it depends on the person, they feel relieved. They're like, oh, I don't need my tatemae or whatever to, you know, uphold this general Japanese social construct of how I should interact with people. I can just be myself because this guy's just a random dickhead. Like, I felt that a fair bit.
Yeah, especially just like you said, foreigner fatigue. I don't know if you came up with that term or not, but it's a really good way to put it. Yeah. That like basically someone said describe foreigner fatigue. I mean, basically, if you're in any of the big parts of Japan right now, like we're in Tokyo right now. Yeah. That there's so many tourists here. And it's like a very new thing. Like just in the last 2 years, there's this giant influx of tourists. Yeah. And like some people, some people are, really making an effort and they're they have the best of intentions. Other people are just breaking all the rules and they're kind of being good. But either way, in both cases, like they don't understand Japanese culture, right? And they don't speak Japanese. And so for Japanese people, suddenly now, let's say if you're like in a service job, now you have these foreigners coming and you have to try to communicate with them. And you have to try to use English, even though you didn't know it was English before. You don't know whether they're going to understand the rules or like what they're going to do. So I think Japanese people are just like suddenly it's like they woke for a whole life they were surrounded only by Japanese people, and they wake up one day and now it feels like their whole city's getting overtaken by foreigners they can't communicate with and that don't really get the rules and aren't really getting with the program. So I think a lot of Japanese people are kind of like, they're like, oh, here you go again. Like, and so when you just by speaking a little Japanese, you can immediately be like, oh, I'm not one of those tourists that doesn't know what's going on. I'm actually like
they get a lot of relief.
Like, you can see it in their face and their body language all the time.
Yeah, it's very true, and that's another argument for why you should have good accent because immediately they feel it.
Oh yeah,
like they're not like, oh my god, here we go again. Some guy like. I said this to Matt before when we were off camera, but like sometimes people will like talk to me like in English, not even in English. I'll speak real slow Japanese or in English, and they look kind of annoyed. And then I'll say one word in Japanese, and I'll be like, "Oh, sorry," and then they just treat me like normal, and then it's a fun conversation. But Also, someone said, do I still have a video of me talking Japanese somewhere on YouTube? I think I got like 3 or 4. And then on Instagram, I've got a bunch too. Yeah. But...
Yeah, so have you felt more anti-foreigner sentiment in recent times? Oh yeah, big time, honestly.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, when I first moved to Japan, the country wasn't even open to tourists.
Yeah.
It was still closed down from COVID.
Yeah.
And so the only foreigners that were there were people that were living here.
Yeah.
Which, if you're living here, I mean, you're not necessarily fluent in Japanese, but you at least know a little bit what's going on. You know how to ride the trains and shit.
Yeah.
Whereas now, especially just in the last year, it feels like it's really taken a turn for the worse, and there's a lot more of that kind of anti-foreigner sentiment.
Yeah.
That I feel, and honestly, I don't like I said, I've never experienced it one-on-one after they realize that I speak Japanese, right? I've never gone into a place and been turned down. Anytime I go in and just speak one word of Japanese, they immediately treat me the same.
Yeah.
And so I almost feel like they almost, in a way, appreciate me personally more.
I think that, personally. Yeah. I can say that I feel like now, when I've been recently, compared to, say, 5-6 years ago, or how long is it? Yeah, about that time. But it's now when I talk Japanese, people, they seem to treat you more Japanese.
Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air. And they're almost a lot of times they're like, oh, you're actually, they almost view you as a bridge between Japanese culture and the foreign culture, and they're like, okay, can you explain to me what the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
pretty
much. I think so. And then it's because it's before you were just foreign, even if you spoke Japanese. But now there's so many that don't speak Japanese, and they're like a nuisance. When you do speak Japanese, that's then a good point. They actually because there's that contrast. They actually brings you way closer to them. I find.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting because before, they were just one category. Now they have a category of random, doesn't know anything tourist, and by speaking Japanese, now you break out of that category and it's almost like that. I do think that it's like you said, they put you in a different category.
Yeah, it seems like people
and they're really grateful to you. Actually, right now on Japanese YouTube. Videos by foreigners speaking fluent Japanese are completely taking off.
It's true. And
for example, my friend in the chat, I don't know if he's still watching right now, but Tan Torisu. Yeah. He started YouTube less than a year ago. Yeah. I think just a little over 6 months ago. Yeah. And his channel's immediately taken off. Wow. He has many videos that have over hundreds of thousands of views. Yeah. And almost 60K subs or more. Yeah. And I went on his channel. We just had a conversation just talking about normal shit, and it got 250K views.
That's crazy, yeah. I suppose for some people they're more interested.
I think they are, because I think now it's they're before Japanese people, they didn't really have any reason to think about foreigners or stuff outside Japan that much, because everything was just kind of self-contained. Whereas now there's foreigners everywhere. It at least brings up it's they're conscious of it, right? Yeah. So now they're kind of they want to hear well, why do foreigners like Japan so much? Yeah. Why do they do all this weird stuff? Yeah. They want a foreigner to explain it to them.
Yeah, it's definitely true.
And so the demand for foreigners fluent in Japanese is kind of higher than ever, it feels like.
It seems to be the case, honestly. Yeah, there's definitely Would you two ever speak Japanese? That would be so sus, to be honest. It's for a video, sure.
We can speak Japanese right now.
Yeah, but it's would imagine us just sitting there together, speaking Japanese together. Is that not the weirdest thing ever?
Well, it kind of depends. It's I feel like it depends on the foreigner. Some foreigners, George, we were talking about, he just speaks Japanese to everybody.
Really?
So when I meet him, he just comes and starts speaking Japanese first before English.
Really?
And he just speaks Japanese. So for me, it's almost more natural to speak Japanese. And there's some other foreigners, I guess the reason why it happens is if you are in a situation where for example, you're in a group and it's you, the foreigner, and then other Japanese people. Yeah. Obviously you're going to speak Japanese
obviously.
And so then you get used to speaking to somebody, a foreigner, in Japanese. Yeah. And then when it's just you one-on-one, it's almost awkward to suddenly go to English. It's kind of awkward either way. It's
I can see
why are we speaking Japanese? I don't know, but it feels weird to speak English now. Yeah. So I have been in that, but because in our case we've never spoken Japanese, it would kind of feel performative.
Especially if it was just us.
Yeah. Maybe we could do it on the chat or whatever, but it would probably feel a little performative. Yeah. Oh, but it's unique.
Well, it's when I'm at Mali even, and we're speaking English for an hour, and then we switch to Japanese. It felt just weird.
Well, that's the thing, is that I think your brain is very good at making distinctions based on context. Yeah. And so the way your brain, I'm sure anyone bilingual will agree with me on this. It's your brain puts people into a box of what language they speak. And so if you speak somebody and you meet somebody and you start speaking Japanese to them, your brain goes, okay, this is a person I speak Japanese with.
Yeah.
And even if they can speak both languages, once your brain, like in our case, right, my brain is like, this is a person I speak English with.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like I can speak Japanese, but I literally get worse. Like it literally doesn't come out because my brain is like,
I know what you mean. It feels weird.
It feels like speaking Japanese to your mom. It's like part of my brain's like, but they're not gonna understand. This is not a Japanese person.
Yeah,
like,
it is how it feels actually. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's like you could do it, and you can overcome it if you do it more often. But that's why also like when I'm speaking to somebody who's bilingual, like for example, like if we were speaking off camera, what would be most natural for me is I'd mostly speak English, but I'd throw in Japanese words because my brain knows.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. That happens. So that feels. I had one friend, and she was like from she was born in Japan but lived in Australia and I think New Zealand for like ages, like years and years and years. And she would genuinely be 50-50 all the time. Like every sentence was half Japanese. And I would understand it perfectly. Yeah. But I was like, geez, this must sound schizo-as to anyone else who listens to it.
It's kind of fun to do like that in public. Like, I used to have a Japanese friend in college, and in public, I mean, for the most part, I would speak English, she'd speak Japanese back.
Yeah, I have a lot of that.
Yeah, people when you do that in public in America, people are like, "What the fuck? What are you speaking?" Like,
that's true.
It's like even though we're both there, they feel like they're listening to someone on the phone call. They only understand half the conversation. They're trying to like piece together what you're saying.
Oh, that's funny as actually.
Yeah, probably been going for 2 hours. Maybe we can go for another 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
If you have any dire questions that
let's give it.
You want to ask. There's a point where your JP vocab exceeds your English. I mean, it gets to the point where it's more specialized, where it's like like there's certain topics where like that I've listened to content more about in Japanese, so I know about how to talk about it in Japanese more.
I have a funny one. Recently, I was getting right into investing stuff, and I was like, well, I might as well do it in Japanese.
Yeah.
And so I had to go back and learn all the words for like, because they're such specific words that only exist in that niche. I had to go back and learn them in English because I'm like, I just didn't know.
You have to, if you don't
like
learn them, you don't know.
Was it Toshi Shintaku and stuff? Like I was like, what the fuck is it?
Was it like an index fund or something?
Yeah, that's it. So I don't even, it doesn't even like.
I'm not even confident. Like there's other times too where you've like learned the topic in both languages, but you learned about it separately.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not like linked up. So like I said, it's like I kind of know what an index fund is. I kind of know what a Toshi Shintaku is. I think they're the same. Yeah. But are they exactly the same? I don't know. It's kind of like like Kakute Shinkoku. Is that exactly what a tax return is? Or, or is it a little different?
You have to get like they're like two separate. They've developed somewhat separately.
So it's like if you did translation or something, you would probably learn to make all those connections, but you don't really need them. It's like I'm either speaking Japanese or speaking English. Like I'm not a translator, so
there you go. Yeah, but
okay. Here answer the actual questions. Is speaking Japanese with GPT to practice output a bad idea? What do you think?
I think it's fine. The first day you start outputting to just because otherwise, if you genuinely can't even put like a sentence together, you're just a pain in the ass for anyone to talk to.
Or if you just have like intense social anxiety.
Yeah, that too. If you're just scared to speak to people because you sound terrible, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you're just like you're like what does she? And then you just have to like no one wants to speak to you unless they're like it's pretty hard.
You can pay them. But
then it's you can, but that's like you might as well use GPT at that point.
Yeah, I think the important thing is that I wouldn't rely on it. For correcting you.
Definitely not.
Like it's not good enough at following instructions, and it's too like outside of what its particular training. Especially if you're speaking with it. If you're typing and you specifically say, "Is this sentence correct?" It can give you good feedback. But like
sometimes.
But it's not reliable, and especially if you're just having a conversation. Like if you say at the beginning of the conversation, I want you to practice Japanese with me. Correct me when I'm wrong. It will after like 3 or 4 exchange, it will keep the conversation going, but it will forget to correct you.
Yeah, it will. Or it will correct things. It won't even correct it. It will just forcibly change something. Like I remember, my brother speaks Russian. He learned. I probably mentioned it to you. He learned Russian using this sort of same method when he's like 12. But I got him to try because I had something like that set up in GPT, and he said something in Russian to it, and he's like, "It's corrected me, but I know that this is a thing that people say." Just because it's not correct Russian, but it's how they say it. So it can be dangerous. I think it's fine in the initial stages to sort of put things together. I do it sometimes in Japanese when I'm trying to say like a complex sentence. I'll say, is this right? How does this sound? And they'll say, no, say it like this. And I'll look at it and go, that's definitely not how I would say it. But now I know how I would say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the thing is, like it depends a lot how you prompt it, because like the other day,
sure, extremely.
Like the other day, I like every once in a while, like I'll like I had this thought of like, how do you say slippery slope in Japanese?
Yeah, stuff like that.
And so I asked it, and then it said, oh, the way that you say it in Japanese is what was it, like Kudari Zaka Ronpo or something. It was something I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
And I asked my girlfriend, she's like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
So yeah, and it's like, maybe it technically exists, but you know, it's a lot of times if you ask for a translation, it will be too like hipporateru by English.
Yeah, it will be.
Like, it will give you stuff that's actually unnatural. If you prompt it all in Japanese, it will be better. Yeah, because like it's you know, it has this giant amount of training data that it's stored in its weights, right? So it's like, depending how you prompt it, you're gonna pull different aspects of 100%.
You really need to know how to do that. Otherwise, it's like, it's just impossible. Like, you'll just get rubbish most of the time unless you prompt it. But that's the case with anything. Some people just don't know how to use AI. Like, they say, do you know what I get? This is the main comment I get. They're like, why would you trust AI? It's like, what's the fucking alternative? Like, for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think using AI is a skill that you get.
It is. So, you've got to be good at it.
The more you use it, the more that you can kind of sense when it's full of shit.
Exactly.
And you know what areas it's good at and what areas it's bad at. You know, like there's certain areas, like it depends on how much it's in its training data, which pretty much means how much information on the internet existed about the thing.
Exactly.
If there's things that were like very represented in its training data, it's very accurate generally. And other things, it will be full of shit. Like if you ask it about Japanese grammar, it's pretty good. If you ask it about pitch accent, it's literally just completely hallucinating. Because
I've asked it about Kansai pitch accent. It just makes shit up.
Yeah, even normal, even Tokyo pitch accent. Yeah, because it's never heard it's never listened to Japanese before.
The only way you can get it to do anything is if you get it to pull. If you give it the things to pull from already. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, directly reference this, and if it has that, and you can ask it, do you know what this is? Can you reference it exactly?
Yeah. Then if you force it to only pull from a
then it's gonna give you stuff. If you say use the NHK pitch accent dictionary or whatever, then it's like, I think that's it there. But it's,
Well, even then, it's not gonna have it in its training data. So you have to actually like upload a PDF.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I do that a lot of just uploading it and then otherwise you just
the other thing of like, why would you trust AI? It's like, well, a lot of people write bullshit on the internet too. Like, a lot of humans do, right?
Well, not just that. Like, even I do it for generating sentences and like generating decks and stuff like that. It's like, but it's gonna be a lot better than you sitting down and manually doing it yourself.
Plus, like, you know, if you pull Genki or any textbook off the shelf, like, it's going to be even more unnatural. Exactly. Like, you know, those textbooks are filled with super unnatural Japanese.
Super unnatural.
So I mean, basically, it all goes back to what you said of like, Anki is just one little part of your overall process. Yeah. That's just how you plant the seed of what the word means. You're acquiring the word from hearing it used in many different contexts within native content. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter whether the thing on your card is like 100% natural or not. And it's already really, really good. That's the thing. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of AI. I think it's about, or I mean, not a proponent in terms of like that it's necessarily good for society, but in terms of like, hey, we have this tool here, you might as well use it because if you use it in the right way, it unlocks a lot of possibilities. So I talk a lot about that in Immersion Dojo. But let's see, what happened to Ken Cannon? I don't know. He cut me off a year ago. He's ever since I told him that I didn't want to work together anymore, he cut me off, and I've actually reached out many times, but he's never replied to anything that I said. One time he stole my email list, and I
noticed. Yeah, I got an email from him.
Because we used to he actually helped me build my email list. Like, I had never had email list before, so it was actually we shared a Kajabi account. Yeah. And my email list was in his Kajabi account. So he had like a version of my email list from a couple years ago. And so like when we stopped working together, I stopped using that account and I made a new account that's all mine. But like he has whatever my email list was at that point in time. You know, like there's no way for me to like remove it from his account.
No, you can't.
And so one day he just took my whole email list and started sending marketing emails.
That is fucked today.
I think that's illegal to do.
I'm pretty sure that's because they haven't consented to.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't. So like, it's definitely. I mean, to be fair, maybe it was a mistake. I don't know.
It's just who knows.
But I do feel bad for the people that like suddenly are getting these spam emails in their inbox that didn't sign up for it.
I got one.
It's I was like, a lot of people.
I was like, when the fuck did I sign up?
Yeah, actually, I got one. It was kind of funny because like back in the day, like Ken didn't want people that he knew to be on his email list, so he would like not want me on his email list. And so I used to have to like purposely sign up on like a throwaway email to get it, and then one day like suddenly I'm getting like because my own email was in my email list and he stole my whole email list, I started getting them too. So yeah, I don't really know what he's thinking. I mean, I wish the best for him, and he taught me a lot. Yeah. And we were good friends at one point in time. So like, I don't have any animosity.
It's a shame.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because like, at this point in time, like actually right now I'm actually on like really good terms with Lucas, who like at one point in time, you know, we were
you had a bit
like,
of a fallout.
Yeah, like more than a little bit, you know. We were like literally making videos attacking each other and stuff. And so now we're on really good terms. We like made up. So now like out of the whole landscape, the only one I'm like not on good terms with is kind of like Ken. So of course I'd like to patch it up. Like I think
yeah, of course. No one wants to have
I like
that
to, you know, put a, you know, mizu ni nagasu.
Yeah, that's what you yeah, it's a shame otherwise. Who the fuck is Young James?
Oh, I know Young James. He's really cool, actually. Yeah, he's another YouTuber who makes like content about like really like no bullshit content about living in Japan.
Oh, that's mad.
And he's really on that position of like
so Nick. Ken Oojiman live. We'll put that on Ryzen.
Oh yeah, Ken was really into MMA actually.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Like, did he fight?
Mostly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
But did he actually train?
A little bit. Yeah, he was training. I mean, he made this like he probably doesn't want me saying this online, but he made this like really sophisticated life-size like doll that he could use to practice like jiu-jitsu moves like at his house, like on it.
They sell those though. That's
Yeah.
If you have one of them in your home and you bring someone home,
yeah, it was kind of shocking. Like,
when you come in and it's just like a fucking body wrapped up.
Yeah, exactly. Because it looks really realistic. Like it's like complete, like, you know, the dimensions and everything.
You see it behind the couch. You're like, who the fuck is that guy?
He's just sitting on the couch like, what the fuck?
But that's pretty normal, to be honest. That's actually
So I mean, he's
that's mad.
He was training. Yeah, he was pretty serious. So. Yeah, but yeah, Young James, I like hung out with him the other day. He's a
mad cunt.
Yeah, he's a really true guy, and he's like very serious about learning Japanese. I think he's like trying to use our same approach. He's kind of the ones he's been kind of saying recently, like, you know, there's too many people that have been living in Japan forever and they haven't learned the language, and like that's pretty lame. So I mean, I don't go too hard on that point, but obviously I agree. You know.
Yeah. I'll go hard on it. So you don't have to.
I don't want to make enemies, you know, at the end of the day.
I will.
Yeah, you're the guy. I mean, just the thing about that, because, like, you know, I don't know if you saw recently, there's, like, people have been making videos kind of, like, criticizing some of the people that are, like, the biggest creators, like, the biggest Japan content creators, but they've been living here for years and they don't really speak Japanese.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the way I think the thing is, because I teach Japanese for a living, I know how much people struggle with this, you know? And so I'm a little bit more sympathetic. Of course, I think you should learn Japanese, and maybe they should put in a little bit more effort. But ultimately, I have seen so many people genuinely try and fail. So I know it's not just like, you know, it's like telling someone that struggles to like with obesity, be like, oh, you're just not trying hard enough. Like, you need to lose more weight. You know?
I would probably do that too. You know, but honestly, though, I think the main importance is the fact that you're trying. You know, and having a genuine try at it. Because if you just suck at it, some people have a good predisposition to learning languages. Some people just, there's going to be people out there who just suck, naturally have no talent, their memory's shit. You know, maybe, who knows who there's out there. Or maybe they've come to Japan as a skilled worker. They're a scientist, they're something like that. And their work genuinely is so intense that they can't physically find the time to do it. Like people like that, I think it's just the effort that you put in. If you're one of those people who don't make any effort to learn Japanese, you only hang out with foreigners, you just can't be bothered, and you just take advantage of the country and don't make any effort to learn it, that's very different to someone who's putting in all this time and effort to learn, and they just can't get the results they want. Because if I had never found your videos and just went down, for example, a Genki textbook thing, I would be shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's not their a lot of people, it's not your fault. It's just they don't have the right tools at their disposal.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's so more the attitude to me.
Yeah, but I think that's why it's hard to draw such a clear line, because
it is.
Some of those people, like, they made a genuine effort with the wrong methods, and then they kind of gave up because they tried so hard and it didn't work.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having bad Japanese. I think it's a problem when you live here and you don't even try and you suck. Yeah. Like, you can't even communicate at all. At least some people don't even try and say, like, thank you.
Well, I mean, I think that... Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, I think that's 100% worthy of criticism. Although I think the people that are getting criticized are not quite that bad. It's a little bit more of like a gray zone of like, you know, they probably should put in a little bit more effort. But also, they do speak some Japanese, and I get it. It's like they're busy. Yeah. They're really successful people with a lot going on. And it can be hard to, like... make that time every single day.
Yeah.
So
it's true. Like,
it's not so black and white. I think it's hard.
It's not black and white.
Like, especially for me, like, I know I had amazing circumstances to learn Japanese.
Yes.
I did it in high school. I had no other responsibilities. I did nothing but learn Japanese all day.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not really in a position to criticize people that are really busy. They have like a family. They have a full-time job. And I'm like, hey, I learned Japanese. Like, what's your excuse?
Yeah, it just depends on the circumstances, though. Like, if you're living here full-time, you should probably at least speak the language to a basic degree. Like, when people complain about it, like, to a degree, especially with the JLPT stuff, saying, like, it's a bad thing that you should know JLPT to be able to get a job. I mean, like, it's not that fucking difficult. Like, to be honest, those things. It's a different thing. If you just suck at your accent's bad, you struggle to put together sentences, fair enough. But if you can't even survive in the country at all, you're a hindrance to people around you.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Japan, I would want to make, like, basically so that you either need to have at least N2, or you have some, like, extremely in-demand skill.
Yeah, if you've graduated from a great university, you're a doctor, or you're something, you're a scientist, doctor, you're contributing, or maybe you've got a business worth $10 million, or something like that. You're contributing to the Japanese economy. Maybe you deploy, like, you're employing, like, 50, 100,000 Japanese people. If you're that's an extreme circumstance.
In that case, obviously, I think there should be excited. But it's like, if you don't speak Japanese, then the reality is that in many different circumstances, you're going to be a nuisance in a way, right? Like, if you go to the town hall and you have to make them struggle through English with you to write the forms, and like, even at restaurants and stuff. So, like, if you're going to be doing that, you better be providing so much value that it like makes up for that and more.
Yeah, or at least just lock in a bit and just get to a basic like, there's a very big difference to knowing bad Japanese to knowing almost no Japanese.
Yeah.
Like, if you can somewhat understand things and you've memorized, like, say you go to the town hall thing. I don't live here. I don't know exactly what you do. But if you've got to, like, even go to the doctor, if you just know the basic words, even if you can't put them together properly and you kind of understand what they say to you, they can walk you through a conversation. But if you genuinely got no idea,
that's like unexcusable.
That is just ridiculous, in my opinion.
I think that's a bar that like, even that. That there's no excuse for not even having learned the basics. That's like really like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, but like, if you like, gaijin gatekeeping other gaijin, the difference is that we've put in the time to actually, like, not be a huge hindrance on people. And plus, I don't even live here, for one, and I can say what I want about this because I don't even live here. So it's not like I'm having an opportunity that other people aren't. This is just my opinion. I just think, like,
well, I mean, I think the thing is that, like I said, it's like the perception that, like, what other gaijin do, they affect you.
Yeah.
When other gaijin make a big mess of things, and they are a nuisance to Japanese people, the image of foreigners as a whole goes down.
Yeah.
And then you're viewed more negatively. So I think we're kind of in a position where we're justified to have an opinion on other foreigners because of that.
Well, yeah, we're a part of that whole thing. So am I planning to move to Japan? No, not really. Maybe for like a couple months here and there if I fight and do a fight camp or something. But otherwise, I just come here for travels a couple times a year. That's about it. Matt's the fool.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
He's locked in.
Yeah, I'm pretty locked in here.
Yeah.
As long as I can continue to win the visa game.
Yeah, well, that's
constant struggle.
That's that's an interesting one.
Yeah, and someone said, "Do I still play bass?" I haven't played bass really since I moved to Japan. I don't have one here, but yeah.
Yeah, so this is the thing, saying that they should learn the language they live in. The country isn't gatekeeping. It's just the basic requirements. Like, bro, everyone here speaks. It's not even like it's a multicultural society. Like Australia, there's heaps of different people. Japan is just like no one. There's not even the systems in place to make this smooth or anything. Like you're just making things difficult for everyone else.
Yeah, and I do think that, like, we've actually learned Japanese before, so we can offer perspective that a Japanese person doesn't have. A Japanese person doesn't know how hard it is to learn Japanese because they've never really done it.
No.
So it's kind of more like, okay, we've actually done it. We can actually think what level is reasonable to expect from people in various circumstances. Yeah. Because, like, how feasible is that going to be? Yeah, of course I'm going for permanent residency.
No, he's just here to slowly skate by and hopefully not get deported.
I just want to keep playing the short-term visa game forever because I love the Doki Doki so much.
Yeah,
whether they're going to improve me or
not. He just gets the thrill out of not knowing whether he's getting deported tomorrow. Yeah. You're going to Australia? Enjoy. I wonder where you're going, but how bad? Oh, the fuck, the gas crisis. I don't even know. You would know that.
I don't really follow
fair.
the politics. I mean, it seems pretty bad from what I've heard, but I don't drive, so.
Yeah, fair. Someone asked me before about what's the best base for MMA. It is what's it called? Wrestling and boxing, always. One day I'll teach Matt.
Yeah. Everyone. There's so many people around me that like.
Well, Nick as well, right?
Yeah.
I personally know him at all, but I see that he does jits.
Yeah. He's like really big into that. So.
Yeah. But he looks way bigger than you.
No,
isn't he?
No,
is he a small guy?
He's our size.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was. He looks like.
I mean, he's muscular.
But I thought he was
built,
tall.
But he's like a couple, like an inch or two taller than me.
All the manlets coming to Japan.
Yeah,
we found our land.
There are advantages.
Oh, Cairns white Sunday rainforest in Sydney. You've picked the good spots of Australia. That's good. Yeah, there's some places I wouldn't recommend.
That's cool. One day I gotta make it out there.
You gotta.
Yeah. I mean, that's the cool thing about, like, before I moved to Japan, I never really had any connection to Australia. But when you live here, you meet other Australian people. You meet Japanese people that have been to Australia. It kind of puts you on your radar.
It does. Wouldn't it? In America, you wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah,
we have very few Americans.
America, yeah. Like, in America, you don't think, like, it's just the rest of the world hardly exists to you.
Fair. I have a few American friends in Australia. They're good guys, but
that's cool.
Yeah. What do you think of the recent Inoue and Nakatani fight? My glorious king Inoue got it done. I love Inoue. I have, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm going to shout it out. I've got this brand here, Japan Glove Market, sell boxing equipment. So if you ever want, we sponsor some people from Inoue's gym, actually. Sonada, what is his name? Sonada Chikyu. His name's Chikyu, my mate.
Damn, that's badass.
His brother's name's Taiyo.
Oh, that's
interesting. But yeah. Check out the brand if you're interested in boxing. But yeah, Inoue got it done. My boy. I love him.
Sweet. Well, yeah, on that note, maybe we should, we can give you can plug your school community.
Oh yeah, if you're interested in learning on my thing, there's probably most people in here are already in, or maybe if you're a Matt watcher and you're not in Matt's school, I don't even know what the fuck you're doing. You should be in there. And then if you're interested in what I got to say as well, join up mine as well. They're both, honestly, for the value that we give you, you will never find anything that comes close. I'm happy to just hit a promo on this. I don't know if you outwardly say this, but good luck for the value that I think Matt is 28.
Yeah.
Mine's 18. A bit. I think you raised yours recently.
Yeah.
Because he's got so much value in there. There's two things there. Put those together even. Like, you will get the most value out of two different perspectives on the same method. I recommend learning from a bunch of people, not just one person. Take everything good and put it together, and then you're going to get more value than you ever will, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, you could sign up for 1 month, consume all the content, and then unsubscribe. And then for like less than $30, you have basically my entire life's work.
Exactly. You know? I've got a 7-day free trial as well for now. It might go, so you better jump in quick. Experience it, get the things. I've got everything in there. Anki decks, videos, Q&As, probably similar things, just from a different perspective. Especially if you want a hard-ass version of it, where you're going a bit more extreme.
If you know that you've been a little bit too soft and you need someone to...
Scream in your face.
Yeah.
I'm actually nicer on there, probably. But yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'll also say, I should have said this. I've been actually uploading a lot of videos on my second channel called Matt vs. the World. Yeah. And so if you want more looks, if you want more videos from me, I'm actually going to keep uploading pretty often on there. Eventually, I have some plans for my main channel, this channel as well. But yeah, if you want lots of content from me, similar to back in the day, then that's where you'll find it. So
tough.
Sweet. Well, questions.
Can you answer that one?
Yeah, is dating harder in Japan than it is in America? For me, I haven't found it to be the case. I mean, to be honest, I at this point have more experience dating in Japan than in America, so I don't have that much of a comparison. But if you speak Japanese here and you're a cool guy, then I don't think dating is very hard.
I think my girlfriend is Australian as well, but you notice immediately you're gonna be on people's radar more because you're so different to everyone else. You know what I mean? So if someone's interested in foreign people and you speak Japanese, to a certain group of people, if you're interested in these chicks that the foreigner obsessed people, you'll probably have it easier. But at the end of the day, if you're a dickhead in your main language, no one's going to like you no matter what language you speak. So probably focus more on yourself than the actual language.
Yeah. I think in a lot of ways the specifics are different, but
yeah.
What women find attractive are not. It's largely universal.
Confidence.
Confidence.
And being nice.
Yeah. And competence.
Basically. Competence. Yeah, of course.
So.
Yeah, it's same shit.
Yeah.
Regardless. Yeah. That's the thing. Anyway, I don't know if I want to extend this anymore. I was gonna say people get the wrong idea about this shit.
Yeah, I have a lot to say on that too, but yeah, maybe that's another topic for another.
Yeah, we're gonna be a fucking hour shit talking people who try and do that stuff. Who would do better in dating? Super attractive. Super attractive dude.
That's an interesting question. Who would do better in dating here? A super attractive dude that speaks no Japanese, or an average dude that is fluent?
If they're both, if he's rich too, then he'll be good.
Well, it depends on how you define success, because first of all, like if your goal is to just hook up, then like the guy who speaks no Japanese but is super attractive is gonna have a better. If you want to actually be like enter into a long-term relationship with somebody who you're compatible with, then actually I think the average dude is probably gonna do better. But you're also gonna be hitting different demographics.
It'll be just different things altogether. Yeah. It's two separate pathways, obviously.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you learn Japanese for that point, like get a grip.
That's realistically, you're not going to be able to sustain a long-term relationship if you don't speak the language.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be limited to girls that speak English, which is a minority, right? And so, I mean, there's just that practical reality. If you just want to come here and have a good time for some short-term stuff, probably, you can, hard to beat being super attractive, but aim for both. That's why not? Do what you can. It's all you can do, guys.
Yeah. Just don't be thinking about that stuff. It's kind of just lock in.
Yeah. I mean, don't be using that as an excuse to be hopeless, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I can do well enough, and I'm like pretty average looking and pretty short, so.
Well, maybe honestly, that's the one thing. If you're short, you'll be better.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. Is like here, I'm taller than the average Japanese girl, which I still think it's a disadvantage here. Like girls are obviously like taller guys, like all things equal, but I'm like shorter than the average American girl, so that's like a whole other level of rough, I think.
Yeah, it's
But then again, you can still kill it if you have enough riz, and enough aura. You can overcome a lot.
Yeah,
it is a tall ask. Okay, should we end it here, or
that's a fucking spastic question to end it on? But yeah,
it's always like that, of course.
Oh, yeah, I think that's. So yeah, sign up to the schools.
There we go. Later.
Woo. Jeez, that's a pretty good average video, right?